Hello everybody. Nice to have all of you here. Just gonna turn on the IRC chat room. This looks good. And we are live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And hope that you will enjoy today's show as usual. And this is okay. Okay, hello there. Connecting to the IRC. So hello everybody, welcome aboard. This is the Shortwave radio show. And we are live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And this is the show for Friday, February 16th, 2018. And of course, we will talk about radio. And hopefully, you will enjoy the show today, as we will have a questions and answer and tune the bands a little bit, see what's interesting in there. And hope you enjoy the show as usual. So hello everyone, this is the show every Fridays where we talk about radio. Tomorrow, Saturday, no shows, but we are we're here every Fridays at 2000 UTC. Next Friday, being the last Friday of the month, will be the VHF UHF one. So remember that we'll be on a different channel for next Friday's show. For VHF, UHF, and we'll try to tune that new amateur satellite, Amateur Oscar 92 or Fox 1D. We'll see if we can hear that. And I hope you enjoy the show today. So hello everyone, welcome aboard. And always fun to have all of you here. There's a nice chat room for those that join. You just need a Gmail account and you'll be able to join a fantastic gang of great people that actually are here to help if you have questions, and also just chat about radio and whatever comes to your mind. Hello there, Bobby Burgess, listening to Radio Havana, Cuba, 15140. Let's just try it out here if I can receive it. Yep, not very strong, but it's there. Radio Havana, Cuban, English on 15140. MDK2's got ZBC on 11735, but weak today. Brett Wayne, hello there. KC2NXP. Ralph Bender, hello there. Nice to have you on board. Richard Cook, hello there. Well, it doesn't matter because a Google account is good for all of it. So if you have a Gmail, you're okay on YouTube. They're linked. It's the same account. So if you have a YouTube account, you got a Gmail. And if you have a Gmail, you got a YouTube account. They're going together, basically. What else do we have? Let's say hello, Mick H. Nice to have you on board. And got the PL 880, which is nice. Dax Farrer, hello there. Nice to have you on board from Germany. SWL60N, nice to have you on board. iMapper from Russia, with love. And nice to have you here from Moscow. David Snyder from Staten Island, nice to have you on board. David Green, bonjour, salut, welcome aboard. PLF Radio, bonjour, welcome from France. We've got Driver Film Shortwave. That is nice to have you on board. And what do we have? We have Syrian Willow, as I saw in the chat room, which is your name. We have, what do we have? Anybody else that I missed? Did I say hello? Please say hi. I want to say hi to everybody. Of course, as we are on this nice show on the IRC chat room, SG2, East Nebraska, RSP 12, Uno, Walbrook, Name is so long it actually goes in the chat. Nice to have you on board. 30 Fahrenheit sunny here. It's 32, about 32, 30 Fahrenheit maybe. About the same temperature. So nice to have you on board. Laura, nice to have you here on the IRC chat. And today we will have tons of questions. It's snowing outside. We're supposed to have about two or three, maybe 2 inches of snow on the ground before it stops. And dropping down tonight to close to -18, so close to 0 Fahrenheit. Rock Ristorante, nice to have you on board from Sweden. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And always nice to have you on board. What else do we have? David Arden says this is a gang of great people. So nice to have you here. Absolutely. Everybody's cool. Richard Cook's listening to Turkey in English. So cheers, everybody. Got my beer, which is don de Dieu, or gift from God, basically. So cheers, everyone. What do we have? Yep, it's sad to see that Sony is leaving the shortwave radio production. You know, these big companies that specialize in general electronics of all sorts. You know, when you look at divisions like, you know, the PlayStation division and the TV division and all of that, you know, you can't compare that to shortwave radio division, which was probably a very small chunk. I'm not even sure it made a little dent in the revenues that Sony had. So, you know, at some point these companies, they take a decision to leave, you know. Panasonic did that years ago with saying, hey, we're not gonna do any, you know, shortwave radios anymore. Which is sad because Panasonic also had quite a few really interesting shortwave radio models. So it leaves us with you know, on the low end, most of the radios from Chinese manufacturers, a few little things like the Sea Crane and the County Combat, which is a Texan radio anyways. So, you know, times are changing, and I think, you know, it's a little bit like the amateur radio side. I think we'll end up with specialized companies that specialize in just making shortwave and things related to that, just like the amateur radio market is now pretty much specialized by having companies that specialize in AM gear like ICOM and Kenwood, stuff like that. You know, it's times are changing, and we got to live with it. But you know, there's still a lot of stuff that you can listen to. And there's still lots of radios you can buy on the internet. Somebody had posted a comment like, well, now they only have cheap Chinese radios. You know, we got to be careful. Some of the Texan receivers are actually good, really good, and actually very good quality construction also. But, you know, Sony had a little something. Sony receivers were always a little more expensive. But I gotta say, they were also built to last, and they had interesting designs, you know. I was looking at that, and I was looking at Amazon, which still has the Sony ICF 7600 JR, but you know, I find it a little expensive. It's 179 Canadian. But I was thinking, wow, you know, maybe I should get one of those and you know, enjoy one of the last Sony shortwave radios and add that to my collection, because I mean, that's you know, it's something that we're gonna, so I don't know, we'll see. I'd like if they'd have a sale or something. I should have I think it's a year and a half ago they had it on sale on Amazon. It was down at like $129, and you know, I was a little tight on money, so I didn't want to spend the $129, but you know, maybe I should have. I mean, at that price, it was kind of good price for that Sony radio. But, you know, it would be interesting to have the Sony ICF 7600 maybe, or check that out. So 179 Canadian goes to, what, about 150, around 150 US dollars. It's lower price in the United States, though. So yep, Sony is out of the business. Two Hands in a Radio, hello there, nice to have you here. Jerry DX, hello there, nice to have you on board. What else do we have? Yeah, we're not too bad in the medal count here in Canada right now, so it's not too bad, and hopefully the hockey team will, Canadian hockey team will win gold, maybe, who knows. Neil Toombs, nice to have you here, M0CJM. Poking his nose in for a little while, cool, and you are welcome. MDK2 says snowed yesterday with 45.5, about 8 Celsius in Denver. Neil Toombs is in Basingstoke, Hampshire. And what else do we have? So MDK2 says, when was the last time Sony put out a new model of shortwave receiver? Anyway, they've got a few, what is it, the ICF SW35 or something like that, which is not that old of a receiver, but it's analog. It's not, doesn't have, you know, frequency. It doesn't have the frequency display. That one isn't very old. I don't think it is very old, but you know, they were just surfing on what's left. I mean, the ICF 7600, it's been in production for a lot of years. You know, they must have sold enough to keep it up, because I mean, the 7600 was there for many years. It's been more in production in more than 10 years for sure. And I mean, to keep production of a radio like that for 10 years means they must have sold a certain number. You know, a lot of people, because that's something also that is interesting, and it's the fact that we got to realize that a lot of the shortwave radios sold are used as main AM FM radios most of the time. I would be curious to see a statistic, but you know, Sony, the name Sony, the brand Sony is a brand that you know, inspires confidence for most people. If we have the choice of, you know, a TV, whatever, and you've got a Sony one with tons of brands that you don't know who they are, I can bet you Sony, just by the name, probably enjoys healthy sales just because the brand is known as being a good brand. And I'm sure there's a lot of these radios that were sold because someone somewhere needed a new radio to listen to their favorite, you know, AM or FM station, and they looked at radios and they said, oh, this is a Sony radio, it must be good, and probably never tuned the shortwave bands on it. They just, you know, tuned around and to their favorite station, and that's it. So there must be a good chunk of radios out there that actually have never tuned outside the AM or FM band that have shortwave. There must be tons of them. You know, like the one that I was telling last week, the Grundig Satellite 800 that a client of mine had, and basically it you know, it just tuned local CBC, which was kind of, you know, really crazy. Streak Stock 72, nice to have you here. What else do we have? And you know, they have different divisions, and I mean, they are making tons of money with the PlayStation 4. Probably not tons of money. Probably not, you know, tons of money on TVs and stuff like that. That's a very, very difficult market. Selling TVs is like selling PCs. The margin of money you make on these devices is very, very small. But you know, probably ain't selling. And let's face it also, because one of the things that I've seen regularly, somebody wants a radio for their home. They're just gonna, you know, basically, you know, if you want, buy the cheapest thing that they can find that does the job to listen to their favorite local broadcast, you know. Bobby Burgess, 78 Fahrenheit in Morgan City, Louisiana. That's a beautiful weather to go outside. So it's nice to have you here. Street Stock 72 says he's also VA7ZZT. Nice to have you on board. And you know, David Arden, CFRX is on 6070, not 6040. Let's try CFRX here. Toronto, is it here? It's there, but it's very weak in the noise. But it's there, I can see it. Very, very weak in the noise. What else do we have? So Bobby Burgess has problems with his PL380, has been going dun 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 on shortwave. That is weird. Probably some kind of electronic problem. It's sad. I've had mine for what, years, and used it a lot. Works fine. So probably a little unlucky on the PL380, Bobby. Jerry says, had my hands on a brand new Sony ICF Shortwave 100 about 20 years ago, and in the store at the mall. Should have bought it. Yeah, I'm gonna check just for the fun of it. Is it still on Amazon? I'm just gonna check Amazon.ca. Sony ICF 7600, and here, oh, it's not there anymore. Oh, it is there. Is it there? Yeah, it is there. Oh, okay. They have one. Okay. I don't know if it's the fact that there's no more, but they have one on Amazon at $546.98 now. They used to have one, but now they don't sell it officially anymore. I've just noticed they don't sell it. So I won't buy that at 500 and something dollars. It's not worth it that price at all. But crazy, really crazy, you know, when you think about it. So and if they're not making any more of those, I don't think we're gonna have the chance to really, you know. Maybe I should check. Let's check. I'm gonna check Radio World in Toronto. Radio World Toronto. Radio World in Toronto has so let's go here. If I look at Radio World in Toronto and go on radios, scanners, and everything. Okay, now we'll go to radios, scanners, and shortwave receivers. Okay, and shortwave receivers, anything in the Sony brand. In Radio World, I see that they don't seem to have any Sony radios anymore. Let me just check here. Manufacturer. Yeah, no Sony is written there. So there's no more Sonys. They maybe have stopped making these radios a little while back because they seem to be out of stock everywhere. Kind of interesting here. So, what else do we have? PLF Radio says, I saw Sony AN LP1 active antenna is not produced anymore since a few months. So they're kind of being phased out everywhere. Tree Hugger, good afternoon. Nice to have you on board. Billy Laptop, hello there. Pretty cool. So, JDX says Winter Olympics might be Canada Olympics. Well, we're at the top, like the top four. We've been hanging there in the top 3, 4 So it's, for Canada, if we're in the top 5, I think it's a good performance for Winter Games. Because for a long time, I mean, wow, we were so crappy even in the Winter Games. But now in the past few Winter Olympics, haven't been too bad. So it's not too bad. BCJ Vids, hello there. KC1HHW from Derby Line, Vermont. Thank you very much, and it's nice to have you on board. Matthew K, hello there. Nice to have you here. 8 seconds delay. Pretty cool. Isn't there a new, Bobby says, why no NHL players? Wasn't there kind of a new rule that professional hockey players could not... Okay, I thought it was also a rule that professional hockey players might not be accepted as in Olympic teams. Oh, but that also is the fact that you could not stop games from the NHL just to go to the Olympics also. Drive from Shortwave says, only Sony I have is an ICF Shortwave 100. Was okay till I had the ribbon cable problem. Yeah, I think that's the #1 problem from what I've seen on some posts. I think that's kind of the #1 problem that that radio suffers, that ribbon cable. The only I do have a Sony radio here, but it's an AM/FM radio I have in the kitchen for listening to local stations. Dax Farr says the Sony ICF 2001D, which is also the Sony ICF 2010 in North America, is a very cool radio, absolutely. Billy Laptop says ICF 7600 JR 200 in US, 2-month wait time. Wow. And you know what? It might actually be a 2-month wait time to finally have them tell you, okay, finally we can't get one anymore. John Timken, nice to have you here from Lincolnshire, UK. Pretty cool to have everybody here. Well, I got a Sony TV. So, MDK2 says it's a shame, but it makes sense for the viewpoint taking 2 weeks off for the Olympics. Yeah. David Arden says, love using my ICF 7600 JR. If Jill weren't on, I'd be at our city park now. Yeah. I'd like to have one. If I ever have the occasion to get one ICF 7600, I think I'm gonna jump on it. Calvin, nice to have you on board. Radioactive, hello there. So nothing much. We're kind of ranting at the Sony decision to stop production of shortwave radios. Joe Pecky, nice to have you here. Have had a 7600 for a long time. Still works great. These are really good radios for sure. David Green says propagation past couple of days were pretty awesome due to the solar activity. I heard some pretty exotic stations after or about 2200 UT. Cool, yeah, the propagation was really good. So hey Joe from Virginia, nice to have you here. David Snyder's got a Sony 2010, which I put on eBay at 15, but it did not sell. We'll relist it this weekend. If you're interested, email me. So you must have put it higher than at $15. Were there a zero missing in that? Because at $15, I'm buying it right now. So you know, Street Stock 72 says, because of you, I bought a ICOM R8500 out here in BC, and in my race shop, it rocks when others aren't there. They don't like background noise. I have it hooked to a G5 RV, and that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Oh, I like this. Twitter is giving me the little tips. So, Free Saxon, hello there, Southern Illinois, Saren. The Sony ICF 7600 JR has one of the best sync detection of all portable radios. I've read somewhere there was, if not one of the best, the best sync detector of any radios. Butterbean, hello there, says, anybody where I can find a battery door for the Sony 2010? I would look on eBay. That's the kind of thing that you find on eBay for, you know, a couple of bucks. Somebody somewhere got one and just want to sell it. I would try there for sure. That's the first place I would think of, Butterbean. John Timken says, Sony announced today that they won't be selling any more shortwave radios, but with the US, EU, UK ramping up the Cold War again, maybe that's still a future for propaganda to keep shortwave active. You know, it's... I think the even if, okay, let's position ourselves in the possibility that we would kind of have a Cold War scenario come back. Yes, part of, I don't know, maybe someone somewhere would think, yeah, shortwave, let's get back on shortwave. Let's fire up, you know, those transmitters. But a lot of the propaganda today is going through the internet, and so as long as the internet is working, I think they rather use that medium than fire back a shortwave transmitter. So I don't know, you know. Sparky's Boogalooyum, nice to have you here. And by the way, there was a little, at $15 it had to sell. I mean, at 15 bucks, I'm sure it would sell. There's a sad note this week, and anybody heard who heard in the past the Crystal Ship Pirate? I've heard that so many times. I've got an EQSL somewhere in my computer with of reception of the that pirate station, the Crystal Ship. Unfortunately, sad news. The pirate behind the Crystal Ship had cancer and lost his battle to cancer last week. So apparently, last week or this week. So apparently. Hopefully, he'll, you know, hopefully he'll do some pirate radio somewhere in the other world. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I also got a Sony camcorder. I got an HD camcorder. Actually, I got an old Sony camcorder, the one with the little tapes that you put inside it. That still works, and it's in a bag somewhere. But the batteries are dead. But I've got an HD Sony Handycam also that records directly on an SD card that I have purchased about 5 years ago when I started making videos. Because when I started making videos, I had a very, very crappy HD camera that had one corner that was all blurry. So when I was making videos, it wasn't really that nice. So when I decided that I want to be serious at making YouTube videos, I had purchased the Sony Handycam for, I think I paid 350 bucks for it. That recorded on HD. The important thing for me back 5 years ago was, okay, I want to have an HD camera because I want to have the videos in HD. And so I still have it and I still use it. Actually, the video I posted about the little quick review of my Grendig satellite transistor 6001 is filmed by that Sony Handycam. But I use it less today because I am amazed at the quality of videos that come out of my Galaxy 7 phone from Samsung. And I was actually thinking of purchasing a little stand made for the phone so that it, you know, because when you hold it, you move all the time, so everything moves in the video, which is kind of, you know, sometimes a little difficult to watch. And I was thinking maybe I should, you know, purchased myself a stand to put the camera, the phone in, and use it as a main camera, which also has another very great thing, is that to make videos with the Sony Handycam, I gotta then plug it into a PC and then transfer the video to the internet. On the phone, which is cool, is you make the video and you just launch the YouTube app and upload it to whatever channel you have, which is so convenient. You can post videos anywhere, so it's kind of cool for that. And because of that, I've been using my Sony Handycam a lot less. Also, the sound quality of the phone is actually better than the Sony Handycam, which is crazy. Crazy. Yeah, absolutely, Pierre Freire. Sony does sell smartphones, and it is one of the big markets. That's it, 150. Even at 150, I mean, Sony ICF 2010. I would guess it would go for 150. Maybe not that much more, but you know. Southern Illinois San. I can buy Sony ICF Shortwave 7600 JR or Satellite 750. If you like big radios, the Satellite 750 is a bigger radio. It's a big chunk of radio. If you like that, it's pretty good. But if I had the choice personally of both, one or the other, I would jump on the Sony, because it has it is better in many respects than the Satellite 750. Plus, you've got sync detection. That's amazingly good. You know, I think it's something that's what I would do personally. Okay, 7600 on eBay for $49.99. New tab. Let's open up this tab here. eBay. Yeah, on eBay.com, and maybe, yeah, we'll ship to Canada, but we need to contact seller. It has one bid right now, and it's at $49.99. So, how much time is left for the auction? 4 days and 20 hours. It's going to end up selling at more than $100, pretty sure. I would guess that's pretty much where it's going to go. MDK2 says Turkey always signs off early. Yeah, either that or they just forget to turn off the transmitter and then they go on for 2 hours and jam everybody else. That is one. There was a. I was listening to Glenn Hauser's World Radio this week, and he was talking about Turkey that just didn't turn off its transmitter one day, and like tons and tons of of interference. Why the medium wave intervals are 9 kilohertz in most countries? Why not 10? Okay, well, 9 kilohertz is I believe Europe and Middle East and Asia. 10 kilohertz is North America. Here we are at 10 kilohertz, and you know, it has to do with the bandwidths chosen. 9 or 10 kilohertz are often chosen for the kind of maximize the number of stations within a band. So why did they choose 10 here in North America and 9 in Europe and the rest of the world, or almost? I'm not sure why they made a difference like that. Yet, at 9 kilohertz, they probably figured we might have a little more stations in the band than at 10 kilohertz. So, you know, they might be able to, at the end of, you know, with all the medium wave band, probably they could put a few more stations at 9 kilohertz than they did at 10. But it's part of that, and it's part interference. I believe the 10 kilohertz for North America has been chosen for minimizing the interference between each channels. So by having a 10 kilohertz spacing, it would you know, make the stations a little less interfering with each other when you hear stations close to each other. But it's interesting. I don't know, why and who thought of, that that spacing. I don't know. Weighted Cube, nice to have you here. James Megawatt, nice to have you on board. Thank you very much. B, hello there. Says secondhand Sony ICF 7600 for 79 pounds at Radio World. Oh, they got a used one of 79 pounds at Radio World, which is like 130. Bobby says, did you answer my question about crossing states in Canada that there is a checkpoint? Yeah, usually you go through the border at some checkpoints. There are a few places where the border doesn't actually. There are little country roads where there's like no official border patrol or anything, but you still have to notify either the Canadian or the American border that you're gonna move across. They gotta know. But most places here, like for example here, if I go to the U.S. from here, most of the time it's we're gonna go through La Colle, which is one of the biggest, probably the biggest places where people go from Quebec to the northern states of the United States. So yeah, Southern Illinois says never understood why 9 kHz for Europe. Yeah, the only thing I can think of is they chose 9 kHz because they knew they could put a few more stations on the band. Logically, that's probably the only thing I could think of. Chris Freitas, nice to have you on board from Memphis. Pretty cool. David Arden says 7360 Vatican radio, but signals too weak to identify. 7360. Anything there for me? It is Spanish from what I hear. And if it is Spanish, let's check it out. I will tell you if the IBI space 7360. Let's go to 7360. And if we look at this right now, it's Spanish, so it's okay. What I have is the voice of the Islamic Republic of Iran, because I'm hearing Spanish on 7360, and the only station in Spanish at this time, from 2020 to 2120, is the voice of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So it's strong enough here to hear Spanish. So definitely this is the voice of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So pretty cool. MBK2 says it was one of the founders of the Crystal Ship. The other guy, John Poet, is still alive, and he's been the main guy doing recent broadcasts. Oh, okay. Thanks for the info. He was a co-founder. I think that I forgot to mention it, but I think it was a co-founder, yeah, of Crystal Ship. But I haven't heard Crystal Ship in a long time. I remember they were quite regular, but I haven't heard Crystal Ship in a very long time. Richard Cook says 9 kHz rather annoying for Europe, as there's lots of stations on medium wave. There's one positive thing about 9 to 10 kHz spacing is it's easy for North American DXers to identify that it's a station coming from outside North America because of the channel spacing, which makes us, hear little tones, and we know that, oh, okay, that one is off. It's not on 10 kHz, so it's somewhere else. Right now, it says, I've heard tube radios are much more immune to EMP blasts than newer radios. Well, yeah, because tubes are much more tough in their design. So a electromagnetic pulse that would be very strong, say from a nuclear explosion, would probably leave most tube radios intact. They probably would still work very well. but transistor radios would be hit by that, because the electronics in the transistors, the chips, the electromagnetic pulse would probably burn the chips and the transistors. Crooked Ninja 5, nice to have you on board. Yeah, and there's nothing between absolute, like as David Arden says. There are border crossings, U.S. Canada, but you can go across Canada province to province, and the only thing that's going to tell you changed province is the road signs. Here we have a joke here in Quebec, because the roads are really bad, and we always have a joke that says, "Oh, we've just crossed and we are in Ontario or New Brunswick. The roads are so much nicer suddenly." Oh man. So yeah, that's something that well, I'm hearing somebody doing something in the one of the apartments with an electronic thingy, and I see the interference here. Wow. Jerry says, brand new Sony ACF 7600 JR from Hong Kong. Better get one before they're all gone. Really, from Hong Kong? Wow. Bobby Burgess. You know. Yeah, you know, I like the 910 kilohertz spacing for that, for the DXing thing. Niredun Mazari. Bonjour, bienvenue, salut. Welcome aboard. Always nice to have you on board. Radioactive says, all my videos are done with my LG V20 at 1080p. Seems to work well. Yeah, the phones today are amazing. They're amazing. And you know, I think the minimum today on YouTube is really an HD video. I mean, if I go on YouTube and start watching videos that are filmed in you know, standard definition, and you get these big black bars on each side because it's a little square in the middle of the screen, I stop and I just move on to something else. I was seeing one guy that makes videos, and it's sad because the guy makes interesting videos, but they're all standard definition, and it's still today. And I was like, oh, come on, man. You make good videos, you should be on HD. Because I started watching the video and I just stopped. I just can't continue. I can't believe you know, I don't, it's annoying, you know, with our HD TVs today. It's totally annoying to watch a little square in the middle of the screen. So you know. Richard Cook says, yeah, mainly Spanish, French, and English stations coming here. KB968 says, is a 7-meter long real antenna too short to be useful in mountainous terrain? It's, you know what, it's better than nothing at all. It's better than just the telescopic of your receiver, and you'll be surprised that just 7-meter long, which is what, about 25 feet, you'll be surprised at how much more signal you actually get. And shortwave is not very affected in mountainous areas because signals come from the ionosphere most of the time. It will, you know, if you're at the bottom of mountains, maybe it'll impact some of the signals that come more at an angle because they'll be blocked by the mountain. But I've never, you know what, where I used to go when I was young to up north, where my dad had his shack. Basically it was surrounded by mountains, and I never saw a difference in the fact that there are mountains around me. I would receive the same things with the same, and even better because over there was like zero noise. But a 7-meter long real antenna is good enough. You'll already have much more signal in your radio than just a telescopic. So you'll be okay. You'll be okay. What else do we have going down? I'm trying to remember who makes it. There's some small tripods that have smartphone mounts. Yeah, but I've seen a few mounts that actually I've got 4 tripods here that all are with the same specification, because anything that mounts on the tripod has exactly that screw-in base, and all I would need is the holder for the phone that would screw on one of my tripods. That's pretty much all I would need. So what else do we have? PLF Radio says maybe medium wave is 9 kHz space in Europe related to the equivalent wavelength in meters. It's possible, PLF. It's totally possible. That could be a 13TW093. Hello there. He's listening to some FT8 digital mode on 1840 kHz. Cool. Mick H says there was a chap local to me in Leicester, UK, who was selling an almost mint Sony 2010, including box manual, for £200, which I thought was a bit strong. You gotta, the radio's, it's an old radio, so we gotta think about that. A Sony ICF 2010 or 2001D, by the way, they're the same radio. It's just different markets. That's an old radio. It's a radio that comes from, the late 80s? So you got to think about the fact that that's a 30-year-old radio. And it's not like they're rare. There's actually a lot of them in circulation. So, at £200, that would make about 275 Canadian dollars. I would find that a little steep for a 30-year-old radio, personally. But below 200, I would start thinking about it. Below $200, I would start thinking seriously about it. If it's in good working condition. John Tinkin says, how long will a Sony last before the display fails or something else fails on it that is difficult to repair? Several of my analog radios over 60 years old, and I'm still working well. Honestly, anything that is, LCD display and all of that, they don't fail. They typically will last forever. I've never, if I look at all my radios, the earliest model of radios with LCD on them that I've got here, I've got some 30-year-old radio, a couple of 30-year-old radio with LCD display. Still works fine. LCD displays are forever, pretty much. And I think, we'll see the test of time, because with all the radios I've got here, as I get older, a lot of them here are 10 to 15 to 20 years old now. And radios, what breaks on radios mostly is everything that's mechanical, the knobs, everything that you touch and that you can use, that moves. The telescopic antenna will snap or something. That's pretty much the common problems, because the radios themselves, the electronics and the LCD display, unless you drop it to the floor, it's something that lasts forever, basically, most of the time. Bobby Burgess, anyone in the chat, including Jill, can answer making spaghetti and meatballs. Do you ever bake your meatballs before putting them in the sauce? I bake my balls. That sounds so weird. I bake my balls before putting them in the sauce. Street Stock 72 says, I have an R75 in the bedroom with 105 wire north-south at 37 degrees. I can get Florida at times, no problem. Just need a headset because of the wife. Yeah, usually we have somebody that's like, oh, you know what? There's a lot of noise, but I actually cook them before I put them in the sauce. So yes, I cook my balls. David Arden says BBC on 11810. Let's check it out. Very, very weak. very, very weak here. 12.095, almost. 12.095 is a little better. Both 12.095 and 11.810 are from Ascension Islands, really South Atlantic. No checkpoints radioactive from province to province. You can go province to province. There's nothing there that will, like I said, the only things that will tell you that I've changed province is the signs on the road. You know, you'll get that sign that's going to say, "Hey, welcome to Ontario." Oh, okay, we're in Ontario now. So there's absolutely no checkpoints, even though there are regulations of all sorts, like no alcohol. There's all sorts of things that between provinces we should technically not, move from one point to the other, certain things. But there's no checkpoint. You can, go to British Columbia, buy your favorite beer that's not available where you are, and come back with that beer in your car, and nobody will do anything about it. But so that's, I kind of like that, having no checkpoints at all between provinces. And why should there be? I mean, we're one big country. Why should there be a checkpoint, anyways? I can understand the U.S. and in Canada checkpoints, but between provinces, it's like going in the United States. There's no checkpoints when you're changing state. Basically, same thing. VK2FBAJ, hello there from Sydney, Australia. 27 Celsius. Well, yeah, temperatures like that, it is a shame that you're working. Slow Scan TV. Slow Scan TV apparently on 14230. Let's check that out. We're going to park ourselves a little bit here, and I'll even fire up MMSSTV just in case that something pops up that can be decoded. So PLF radio. Daxfire says Iran on 7425 in German. So that's kind of nice. PLF radio says, Jill, have you ever received a medium wave station outside Canada or USA? Long time ago. Back in the late 80s, when my noise level was very, very, very low. Well, early 90s. And I had my Kenwood R5000. I would receive Norway on 1340. I'm trying to remember the frequency. It was like 1341 kilohertz or something like that. I'm not sure. And basically, but I had heard Norway. I remember hearing, I heard a few, like Norway. I believe I heard a medium wave station for from Algeria or something like that at one point. But that was a long time ago when my noise floor was low. And I had about 150 feet of wire on the Kenwood. Today it would be an impossible thing. I sometimes try to tune on an upper sideband and try to hear tones so I can see if I can be hearing, maybe, even if I can't make out the program, see if I can get one of the Europeans coming in, transatlantic. But my noise level is too high now. It's impossible to. Yeah, Southern Illinois, and that is true. A lot of people don't know that, but I get that all the time. On Facebook, I always post the comments because people tend to post videos like this. No, you should put your phone like this to film a video. It's much better. But a lot of people, I don't know why, are just in the I don't know. They always, So every time I see somebody do that, I'm always, nope. Next time you film a video, put your phone horizontal. Don't put it vertical, because it's going to be better. Ralph Bender says Iran on 7425. Yeah, apparently in German. Let me just check that out. 7425. Do I hear something? Not hearing anything here. And let's verify the IBI space to make sure that 7425 is. It probably is, but yep, in German. In German. Well, right now it's actually 2050. Well, okay, it's not on right now. Yeah, it is on. Okay, sorry. 5 minutes. It's not in German though. Should be in Japanese. And 7425 has one German broadcast, but it ends at 1820 UT. So it technically should be Japanese on the 7425 right now. For sure. PLF says, I saw a recent YouTube vid only on 140 or 360. Yeah, we got to be careful with that though, PLF Radio. One of the things that a lot of people don't know, if you watch a video and YouTube has not finished like, you know, doing all the work on the video to make sure that it's okay online, as long as it's not finished, the video usually shows up only in like 360p or 480p. But after a couple of hours, when YouTube went through, basically it then shows up in 1080p or 720p or whatever. You know, my Galaxy S7 is I can even put it maximum if I want and put 4K content. It actually films 4K, which is kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Bobby, so I'm coming down slowly. Coming down slowly. Okay. Matthew K, hello there, says Thailand on 93.90. Driver from Shortwave, if I had $1 for every pixel. Chris Fettis says, I definitely need to buy a tripod for my Samsung S8, but definitely the minimum for good YouTube videos is, oh yeah, you gotta at least do 720p. Above 720p, you're okay. Yeah, absolutely, Syrian Willow. Any YouTuber that does videos today below 720p is doing it wrong. And he's, you know, seriously, you're not gonna get some viewers. I mean, everybody will get annoyed at that low resolution. Fabrice Simonet, bonjour, bienvenue. Hello there, nice to have you here. Radioactive says, I would start thinking seriously about having an IC 8500 if it was around 200. Yeah, 200 is a little low for a 8500. So, Ralph Bender says Thailand also 93.90. Good. I'm going to try it here, but I don't think I'm going to hear that. Yeah, nothing here. There's a very faint signal, but nothing really here. David Arden says Sony ICF 2002 lasted 35 years before it bit the bullet. Yeah, but sometimes, you know, it's sometimes it's you know, you're just not lucky sometimes, basically. Oh God. Matthew K just got the new SDR Play RSP1A. Awesome. Yeah, I hear a lot of good things about that, for sure. Ralph Bender says Voice of Vietnam 9730 in French. Good signal. Pretty good. David Green says so much noise today is bringing me down. Yeah, noise in radio is crazy for that. It really brings you down. Yeah, that is true. The topography. Yeah. There's a lot of different stuff. A lot of different stuff that shows us we have changed. Yes, you know, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta are pretty drab, except when you know, on the Alberta side, when you start approaching the Rockies, now you start getting scenery. But I'd say Manitoba and Saskatchewan are probably two of the poorest and dullest of the provinces for scenery when you're driving. Yes, the as Street Stock 72 says, the RD500 does rock. It is an amazing radio. Personally, if I would buy a used ICOM ICRD500, I would, in good condition, I would easily go to $500 for a used one. A guy who's selling a used one for $500, I probably would have said yes, I'd say, but in good condition. Above 500, it's just because you start getting choices. But you know, the ICOM is a wideband receiver, and that we got to remember, because, for example, the DX, the Alinco DX R8 is a great radio, but it goes, I think, up to 54 megahertz. It is, but you'll have it brand new for about 600. So for somebody looking for a decent performing radio, the Alinco is actually not bad if you want to have a radio. You just got to remember it doesn't come with the power supply, which is extra. But apart from that, I'm drinking a little faster today. Last time was what? A beer every 90 minutes? Now it's a beer every hour. I'm a little faster today. Party mode is starting up, I think. And here we go, beer number 2. And as I am at beer number 2, just want to say that if you want to help me out, paypal.me/shortwave, or you can also send to the Yahoo email. So you go to your PayPal and you send to my Yahoo email if the paypal.me/shortwave doesn't work. And of course you can go on patreon.com. But you know what? It's a little tricky to set up sometimes. Some people are not sure they want to set it up. So why not use PayPal? And all of your donations, of course, are used to things that have to do with the show. I promise that that money will always be spent on something that has to do with the show. And by the way, I have sent the donations of last week, half of the donations that I promised, to Glenn Hauser, that actually sent me an email to thank me back, I believe was Tuesday or Wednesday. I got the email back saying thank you. So I have done my part for last week, and we'll do that from time to time, you know, and help others for sure. I was thinking of maybe sending a little something monthly to Glenn Hauser. I think he deserves it, you know. Hey, we've passed the 100 mark on the views. I actually went to 107. Always goes down when I ask for donations. I think some people are like, yeah, right, he wants money. God. You know, sometimes that's life. Okay, Chris Freitas says, Crooked Ninja, lots of slow scan on 20 meters. Yeah, it is probably the band for slow scan TV, honestly. I'll just put it back here. Oh, I'm hearing one. It's very weak. But we're going to leave it there. You know what? We're going to leave it there. And if some stronger slow scan arrives, we'll be able to enjoy some pictures of whatever. So this one is too weak to really make it, but I think we're going to have some stuff to watch maybe. Chris Freitas says, also anyone going to the Winter Shortwave Fest will be donating or giving away my Traveler 3 to the raffle. Cool, that's a good thing. Dave C says, relatively common to hear Cuba on AM broadcast from here in New Jersey. The only Caribbean station I've ever heard on medium wave. I heard Bermuda once. And I've heard once many years ago, and actually it's going to be a good time because Transworld Radio 800 kilohertz on the island of Bonaire is actually ramping up its power, and It's going to be really a powerhouse medium wave signal. One night CJ80, that's on, it's 800 kilohertz here in Montreal. They did some repairs and they got off for a few hours, and I was able to hear the Transworld Radio Bonaire that time. That's pretty much everything I have. Okay, what else do we have? MDK2 says, I'm thinking about upgrading the portable, and although I hear good things about the 880, the 660 sounds like it does a few things better, like sync. So they're all good. The 660, 680 are great. The 880 is great, but you know. Hey, Data Dude, and nice to have you here. Yeah, YouTube does convert the video in different resolution. Vianney Arsenault, hello there, bienvenue, welcome. Scott Robson, hello there, from his commute home. So, thanks for signing in. Ernie Turner, good morning, VK3DET. Nice to have you here. Richard Cook says, gets Algeria 252 on long wave at night. I'm currently hearing it playing music, wow. I am amazed at all you receive, Richard. I'm actually green with envy at all that you get where you live, Richard. Totally. If I ever go to the UK, we gotta meet up, and I gotta listen to that radio with you, because I mean, wow, it's just amazing what you get. So Ernie Turner, good morning, from Australia. Nice to have you on board. Radioactive says lots of Japan stations on FT8 on 14074. Yeah, it's about the time of day where Japan usually comes in really well on 20 and 15 meters. It's about this time. Yep. I haven't heard Japan. Well, I heard Japan on FT8 the other day while we were live. It was kind of cool. So, what else do we have? Fabrice Savin says, had fun all week with Preom tracking down number stations, feel like James Bond. Yeah, it is kind of cool. I did go on Preom the other night. I was tuning into SDR, and I started going through the schedule and looking at the ones that might make it up to here, and I heard a few things. It's always kind of fun, and you know, it's the mysterious side of the pirate state, not the pirate, but the number stations and all of that. Here's another picture, but I think it's a little weak. We'll see if it actually makes it out a little bit. What else do we have? Yeah, driver films shortwave. Don't give up. Make videos. Make videos. David Arden says WWCR signing on to 9350. Bill Bean, nice to have you on board. Bonjour from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Are you going to the Shortwave Fest? You're probably not that far. Bill. Gonna say cheers here today. It's a bit of wine. Not bad at all. Cool. Cheers. Yeah, Triaga. Alan Wiener in 7490. I hate it. I don't get WBCQ very well here because I'm too close. The signals just, you know, jump over where I am. So I love listening to Alan Wiener on the shortwave bands on the Friday evening. It's kind of a cool thing, but man, it's crazy. It's just probably I hear it once per, I don't know, once per 5 or 6 shows. I don't hear it very often, you know. And I think they're not using the 3 megahertz frequency. That one was actually the best for me, and it was the one I could hear all the time. But man, David Arden says the rolling hills of Manitoba put me to sleep. So you know, kind of interesting. Max Edstrong, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. Prost. Yeah. What was it in Swedish? I don't remember. For cheers. Danny Shortwave, Radio DX, nice to have you on board from rainy Yonkers, New York. We had rain yesterday. It actually went up to like +8 7 or 8 Celsius. And now today temperature is dropping and it's snowing outside. So I guess it's still snowing. Let me just check. And it's snowing. Big snowflakes, you know, the big, huge snowflakes that stick on you when you actually go outside. Rock Restaurante says, originally there were 10 kHz channels on the medium wave, but when the technology allowed digital reading of frequency, you could get more channels by reducing the channel width to 9 kHz. Ah, thanks for the info. Thanks for the info. No, Mr. Paul has not made his appearance yet. He's sleeping in the bedroom. And funniest thing, he went outside this morning. And he hadn't been outside for a while, in a really, really long time. And I saw Paul do something that I had never seen him do before. He was actually, because when he goes outside, what he wants to do is go to the neighbor's yard. But there's a lot of snow. And usually what he does is when he goes outside now, when it's, you know, not too cold, he goes down the stairs and he just sits there in the stairs looking at the snow. But this morning, he decided, hey, I'm going in that snow. So he went to that snow, and he would have snow on his little paws, you know, on his legs up to, you know, halfway of legs. But he would just go, and of course, to go to the neighbor's yard, he has to go under the fence, which is impossible. There's too much snow. So he was looking around, and I noticed that there's a box at the end of the yard in the back. He jumped on the box, and he jumped on the fence, which is maybe this thick. And I actually was walking on the fence, and I was like, really, I am amazed that you can do that. And he jumped in the neighbor's yard. But when he came back, the problem is there's no box to help him now. So he spent like 2 hours gone. He came back, and I looked at him from my balcony in the back, and I could hear him meow and looking at me, meaning, I don't know how to come back home. So as I was preparing myself to go outside to go and get him, he actually really took a huge jump and actually was able to jump on the fence again without having any other help. And I was like, whoa, okay, so you're he's a capable cat. Wow, amazed. I was really amazed. So pretty crazy. David Arden, 93.95 WRMI with music. Let's check it out. WRMI with music. 93.95. Not hearing. Usually it comes in for me, 93.95, and it's not this time. Pretty interesting. MTK2 says WBCQ 9330 had been highly active lately on around the clock, but with a poor signal. Fabrice Simonet says, I am moving to Japan countryside for work next spring for 2 months, looking forward to what stations I will be able to catch. Oh, you're gonna, you know what, Fabrice, you're gonna see what shortwave was in the 80s for me, because the Asia Pacific region, there's tons and tons of signals, because there's a lot of stuff from China and everywhere around there. So I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that. 357 Shaky, good afternoon from Austin, Texas. Nice to have you on board. Richard Cook says, Cuban Lady, 11635. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, not bad a signal too. There's kind of an echo in her voice. It's kind of weird. There's kind of an echo in her voice. But not too bad. It actually goes up to S9 plus 10. It's interesting, the fading today. There's something going on for sure with the geomagnetic field, because there's really weird fading today in the signals. And I know we're supposed to maybe have small, like a G1 geomagnetic storm maybe today, tomorrow. But Cuban numbers, 11635. It's funny because it looks, I have the impression she's in a room instead of just, you know, being there in a transmitter. Just crazy. What else do we have? South Illinois Sand. So have you heard Brother Stair this week? The last I heard, Stair carrying on about trying to figure out why they are trying to shut his mouth. I did hear him, I don't remember which day, but I did hear him on one of the days this week. But I tried to remember what frequency, I don't remember, but I did hear him. Absolutely. So, what else? There, Bill Mead says, I flew over Manitoba, Saskatchewan a couple of years ago, and it's pretty from 35,000 feet because of the crop. Yeah. Seeing the crops from very high up is kind of cool. I remember going hiking with a friend when I was younger in the South Shore of Montreal on one of the few mountains there's over there, and I remember when I was on top, we could see all the fields, all the patterns from the different fields, and it was kind of cute to see from high above. Vianney says, you know what, Joe, I always thought I was crazy about the radio in general. It's good to follow your show on YouTube and realize that I'm not alone to be crazy on that. You are not at all alone being crazy on the radio, I can tell you that. And Reader the Exorcist, cats can do amazing jumps. Oh yeah, I was amazed. And you know what? Paul the cat is a little fat now. So I was thinking, yeah, you're fat, you're not going to be able to do it. But he did it. I was like, wow. And you know what's amazing also is the precision. The jump is exactly what is needed to get on the fence. And that also is amazing. You know, if I jump on something, I'm going to miss. I'm pretty sure. But he jumps on something and he jumps exactly on it. Not too far, not too early, not exactly on it. It's just crazy. The cats are amazing. Radioactive ZL1 LC. ZL1 LC. From New Zealand. Really? Really? Let's check that out. Let's check that out. Can I hear anything? Just check that out to see if I can. 21074. I'm just gonna make sure that my clock is set okay, because this computer hasn't worked in a few days. I'm just gonna make sure that I'll just synchronize with the there we go, synchronize clock, and let's just so this I'm going to shut down. Let's just bring up the FT8 WSJTX software. I hear signals, so it's going to be interesting to see if we can get something in the window to appear for stations. Going to be a very interesting experiment. Again, he says 93.95 AM full music with really good signal in guest PC. Wow, I'm not even hearing it here. This is so weird, and we're not that far. There was almost nothing on 93.95. So, but you know, I was about to go down and get the cat because he was meowing. It was like, okay, you can't come back home. You know, it's like in the summertime. In the summertime, he goes under the fence. CQCO8LY, a Cuban station. So I'm hearing a Cuban station calling CQ. PLF Radio says solar flux 72, K index of 2, which isn't too bad. We'll see the updated information. Crooked Ninja says, yep, Cuban lady has some echo on my side too. She must be in the bunker. What is my opinion of the... Oops. So Dave C, what's my opinion of the Grundig Satellite 100? The only opinion I can give is the one from what I've read on it. And it seems to be a pretty good radio. What I like personally about it is a nice big radio, and I like big radios. You know, it's cool. I mean, you know, you get these little portable radios that are amazing and everything. But honestly, I love a big radio that, you know, there's like, it's huge and it's got knobs and lots of things you can do, you know. It's kind of something cool. So it seems that the only station I'm hearing is Cuban station calling CQ right now on the 15-meter band on FT8. Hey there, Mind Boy. Nice to have you here. Richard Cook says E06 due in 14 minutes. 4760 is too low for me. David Snyder says sub 9350 WWCR is pretty strong. Let's check it out. 9350. Barely making S7. That's weird. I'm wondering if my let me just check out here again. Okay, I'm receiving CFRX 6070.
Very, I think, common nowadays for people playing.
China Radio International 5960 coming in really well with from the Albania transmitter site 5960. China Radio International.
It was a wild west, young, of bots and hacks or just cheating in general. And so I remember one day my friend walked over, you know, back then he'd be like, call me on not even a cell phone, my landline, be like, hey Ron, what are you doing? Come over.
So Man Radio DX just says I've been told I am mad listening to this stuff. Well, that's why you've got the Mad Radio DXer. That I think that fits probably a lot of us. So we are all crazy together. Exactly. David Arden has perfect wording. We're all crazy together. Man. Vianney says, Kiki the cat here. Female cat, always interested to see or watch Paul the cat. Tree Hugger says, picked up a Radio Shack DS394 on Wednesday. Cool. 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 It's so sad. Every time somebody talks about the DS394, I always think about that occasion I had to buy it for like, you know, 50 bucks. I don't remember exactly how many, but it was very, very inexpensive. And it happened to be inexpensive and the last one available, of course, in the few weeks that I was out of a job. So because I was out of a job, I could not afford to pay 50 bucks for a radio. And it's so sad because when I got the job, I had a new job. I went back to the Radio Shack store, and of course they had sold it. And I was thinking maybe it's still there, maybe I could have it, you know. But they had sold it, which was so sad. Nope, nobody's. No one's alone. I can tell you that. We're all crazy with the radios, totally here. Okay, we're all crazy with radios. Take care, driver film Shortwave. Manboy says, gosh, I wish I could have a cat here. I'm living on the 12th floor, and a 44-meter square apartment is a bit too small, I think. Well, cats don't take a lot of space, but still. You know, you got to make sure to get a cat on the 12th floor. You got to make sure you get a cat that doesn't go out. You know, here I have the luxury of having a apartment that's quite, you know, it's not huge, but it's still pretty big apartment here. So the cat has, you know, many rooms to go, and so when he can go outside in the wintertime, he actually, you know, goes around every room and everything. So he's got places to hide. He's got, you know, enough space to run around a little bit. Danny Shortwave Radio DX says, just received the Ethan Field Grandig Edition shortwave radio from eBay. Paid 42 bucks. Cool portable radio in mint condition. Cool. David Green, Radio Nacional Amazonia, Brazil, coming in strong on 11780. Let's check it out. 11780. Yeah, coming in with some music. It's funny because I have the impression that Radio Nacional Amazonia is actually less powerful than it used to less powerful than it used to have before they actually had that transmitter fire. So nice to have all of you here. What else do we have? Yanni Arsenault says signal here on horizontal antenna long wire, 493.95 AM, 10 dB, but QSB, high and low signal. Huh. Interesting. No problem, Bobby. David Snyder says, of course, when you tune to it, it had faded to S7. I can't hear anything on 5960. Interesting. It's interesting how, you know, just, and that is, it's always interesting to just see that a couple of 100 miles or a couple of 100 kilometers is sometimes enough to make a huge difference in the reception conditions. I'm always amazed at that. Shortwave guest says, is it possible to put a shortwave wire in my home? If so, where? Okay, there are a few little things. You know, when I started listening to shortwave, I had no wires outside, and I kind of, you know, you learn by making antennas at some point that you can use things and make antennas and put wires outside at some point, somehow. But the first antennas I've ever had to listen to shortwave when I was with my DX100 here was basically indoor wire antennas. But of course, back then the noise level was very, very low inside a home, and I could actually have a wire in my home and receive shortwave signals really well. Now, with today's technology, the thing is if you do put a wire up inside your home, it has to be away from the technology you use, first of all, and it might not be possible because honestly, you know, here, if I put an antenna inside this room, I'm going to have, you know, a S9 plus 20 dB noise level, which will just wash out everything. So think about putting it as far away as the technology that you have in your home. If you know, for example, if I was to put a wire, I could not afford to put a wire outside for some reason. The only place I would do it here in my home would be the kitchen. The kitchen is the quietest place in my home. So that's the only place I would think of putting a wire. It actually touches one question, because in the questions I have to answer today, talking about that, someone has, and I'm just going to put a little line to make sure that I've actually answered. So somebody asked me the question, and it will reach that question you just asked me about where you would put that antenna. And it's, how do you find interference sources? So how do you know where there's more or less noise within a home or within an area? And the answer to that is a portable medium wave radio, or AM radio. It could be a portable shortwave. It could be on shortwave also, depending on the type of interference. But portable radio is great to find where noise is. If you put yourself in the medium wave band, in the AM band, it has also the ferrite antenna inside it that actually is very directional. So you can actually turn on the radio, go on the medium wave band. So here I'm going to go to medium wave. So here I'm on medium wave with a lot of noise, by the way. And you go around, and even look just within my room in my little space here. So there's you know, full noise when I'm close to the computer, but if I move here a little bit, sometimes the line go down in the S meter. But even if you don't have an indication of signal, by the way, just listening to the noise. You put a volume at a certain level, you don't touch it. If the noise increases, you know you have more noise. If it gets quieter, it means it's quieter where you are. So I would probably use a portable radio on AM and go around the home or go around the area. If you want to put an antenna outside, you could go in your yard, go around the yard with your radio, and yes, you will look weird. Yes, your neighbors are going to say, what the hell is Gary doing in his backyard? He looks weird. But still, you'll be able to find where's the quietest locations around where you live. So inside your home, for an antenna, go in every room, go everywhere inside your home and look at where the noise level is the lowest in your home. You want to put an antenna outside in your yard, you got a big yard, you know what? Go around your yard. You might notice that one part of the yard has less interference than another part because of a neighbor that has a plasma TV or whatever. So, you know, it's pretty much how I would do it, and that'll give you an indication of you know, where you can set up maybe an indoor antenna if you just can't set up an outdoor antenna, because a lot of people have that problem. We got to remember one thing, you know, I am lucky as a apartment dweller to be able to put an antenna outside, because it's not everywhere that you can do that, and a lot of people are stuck with indoor antennas. You know, we're not all we don't all have our home with, you know, a huge yard, and there are a lot of people in apartments, in condos. These are horrible because there's all sorts of rules, and if you put a little wire outside, it's like, well, that is not okay, you are infringing on our rules. And basically that's where you have to try to find, okay, well, can I set up an indoor antenna? Or I remember seeing an article in a magazine, and they were calling it stealth antennas, or antennas that are outside but disguised as something else. And I remember one guy had a series of plants, and he had set it up so that, you know, he could put a wire that would go from plant to plant without nobody noticing anything. And he had an outdoor wire that was going through the plants so nobody would see that it exists. I remember somebody putting a wire in a you know, in a set of trees that were all one next to each other. Nobody was seeing anything because the wire was going through the trees. It was hidden by the leaves and the branch. So, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do, and some of us have it harder than others. You know, I complain about my noise level here a lot, but I get every week at least one message, one comment, one email about stop whining because you're getting stuff here that I'm not getting at all, and you're just complaining about your noise level. And I'm like, yes, okay, I am far from being in heaven of radio, absolutely, but I am actually better than a lot of people also at the same time. And that means you got to do what you can with what you have and where you are. And that's, for some people, a much bigger problem than others. So, you know, crazy. Sorry, I've got a little lately, since I had my flu, when I talk a lot, I have a little bit of tickling in the throat all the time. Okay, what else do we have? So I'm gonna go down. I'm a little far in the chat rooms, guys. David Arden says CRI weak but listenable on 5960. What else we have? David Snyder's 5565. It's yeah, David Snyder. It's Radio Marti from Greenville transmitter site. Radio Marti, the station that broadcasts to Cuba. Radio Marti.
Online, que gracias a ver que estoy aquí junto a nosotros. Muchísimas gracias. Soy Lisandra Díaz Blanco y a mi lado tengo a mi amigo Juan Almeida. Hola.
¿Qué tal, Lisandra? Vida entera. No, hasta ahí no llego. Dígale qué tal Cuba y todos los cubanos.
This is Radio Marti. It's transmitted from, I believe, Greenville, South Carolina, in the United States. Mick H says he has a DX394 as def as a post indoors. Really needs a sloper or infinite jobby. Kind of interesting. What else do we have here? Vienna Astano's got 9360M or 59, I don't know. 95, probably 9395. 9 plus on vertical antenna. Interesting. And the K2 says, I wish Amazonia would transmit at night so we could tell for sure they had a powerful signal at night, but I rarely got them in the day. Yeah, they end their transmissions now very early, and I remember they were real powerhouse at night on 11780. And what I loved about Amazonia at night is that they had their Brazilian music, which was kind of nice. And sometimes when I wasn't listening to anything, I would put Brazil, I would put Radio Nacional Amazonia on 11780 at night, with just a low volume and just have in the background the Brazilian music playing. That I always found really cool. Absolutely. Radioactive says decently strong signal of Honolulu, Hawaii on 16133. And by the way, anybody that has a YouTube channel and wants to have a review of it, or a little, a little thumbs up, a little help, just send me the link to your channel and my email, officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com, officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com, because I will give you a little thumbs up, talk about your channel, and maybe you'll get a few more subscribers and a few more views. So we're here to help. I'm here to share the radio stuff with everybody. It's sad that some people think I am a bad person, because honestly, if I can help out for anyone, honestly, it's a pleasure for me to help out. And if I can boost and help you boost your views and your number of viewers, you know what? I'll be super happy to do so. Brian Awa says, I remember back in the 80s, before my friend had cable TV and just using an antenna, wherever we would tune to shortwave radio near the TV on a certain frequency, it would black out the TV. Weird. Oh, you know why? That's because a lot of, it happens less today, but a lot of the receivers back in the 80s, basically, what happened is that the local oscillator was actually strong enough that when you would tune, your radio was actually also a transmitter, if you can, because of that oscillator. And probably one of the oscillators of the radio was close to a frequency that the TV would receive that signal, and it would interfere with the image and everything. David Snyder, 7490 WWCR S9. Is it WWCR? Isn't it WBCQ on 7490, David? At this time, 7490. I think it's WBCQ. I do think it's WBCQ right now. Yep, WBCQ to Planet. Let's try 7490. I almost never hear it. It jumps over me all the time. David Arden says, just did a YouTube search on Shortwave Radio. The official Shortwave channel was on top of the list. How cool is that? Yeah, sometimes, you know what? The other day, I was going through, there's a YouTube app in my TV, and I've not signed in, Because usually when I use a YouTube app, I sign in with one of my YouTube accounts, and it actually will give me videos that are related to whatever channel that I did. But in my TV, it always keeps signing me out, because every time the app updates, it asks me to sign in again. So I got kind of tired of signing in all the time, and I just left it. You know, I don't sign in and I watch videos. And sometimes I enjoy watching, you know, shortwave radio related videos. And it's funny because every time I go to a video on shortwave, at least once every, you know, maybe once or twice every 2 or 3 video plays, I get, oh, by the way, you might be interested in this channel, and it pops up my official shortwave channel, and I'm like, yeah, well, you know, I kind of know pretty much that content. It's not that one that I want to watch. It's just funny. It's just funny. Lee Locke, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Nice to have everybody on board. Luis Arevalo, hello there, AD6UP, nice to have you on board. So, pretty cool, pretty cool. Yeah, we gotta, you know, totally right, Lee Locke. Who cares what people think? Absolutely. KD5TTZ, hello there. If I can find you back, okay. How do you feel about preamps for shortwave? I don't have a good feel on preamps for shortwave for a very simple reason. They often induce more noise and often overload more than anything else. And unless the preamp is really of a good quality, I'm not much of a fan of preamps on shortwave. Maybe a good quality one could be of some help. But remember that any amplification of shortwave signals means that you'll have amplification of your noise also. So, you know, I've never been... And today's radios are so sensitive also that, I don't know. I'm not sure. Hey, Danny Shortwave, get me a pizza, please, also. Yeah, absolutely, David Arden. Thin magnet wire absolutely can make an absolutely great antenna. You know, it's sometimes you just got to do what you got to do with what you have. And if it means running a little thin magnet wire, basically, you know, that's almost invisible to anyone, the neighbors. You know, we all have that neighbor that's annoying, that if you put something up, he's going to be the first one to rant about it, talk about it. If you can, you know, tell someone that oh, well, you shouldn't have put that thing up, he's going to do it. I got one here in the backyard, just across the yard, and that also means, you know, when you do something, you try to do the least amount of try to be invisible as much as possible, I think is the word. And you know, you got to also think that your neighbors have no idea what the hell you're doing. Okay? My sloper antenna, and I know it's that guy, told the next door neighbor on the other side, and I remember when I met her, she looked at me and she said, oh, can you tell me what you're doing with that? There's kind of a wire crossing the backyard. And she didn't notice, for sure. E noticed, and E told her. And I said, well, I listen to international broadcasts from around the world and amateur radio stuff. And she was kind of, you know, interested somewhat. But she then told me, she said, well, you know, E doesn't like your wire. And I said, well, I don't care if he likes my wire or not, because it's the yard on this side. And I'm pretty sure he told my landlord that there was a wire crossing, but my landlord never told me anything. You know, I know my landlord knows, because he went on the roof once for something, and he noticed You know, he noticed I had a vertical antenna. He noticed I had. If you go on the roof, you're gonna notice I got my sloper and my vertical antenna, unless you're blind. And he never told me anything. You know, I never asked for permission. Maybe I should have, but still, he never told me anything. You know, as long as it doesn't break anything, you know, on the house, it doesn't matter. But I know that guy at the other side, he doesn't like my wire, and he probably thought of every single way of maybe trying to get my wire out. And you know, and he doesn't like my cat either, so you know, what do you want? Luis Arevalo, what is my opinion of the CC radio shortwave? The C-Crane radios, I read a lot on radios, and I read a lot of on radios I don't have. Basically, Thomas Witherspoon, that owns the Shortwave Listening website, had a great article last month in the Spectrum Monitor on the C-Crane shortwave radios, and he seems to be very happy. And I think he is. I think his opinion is probably very good on these radios. So they seem to be really good receivers from reading other people's posts. Richard Cook says weak Pyongyang at 6400 tonight. What else do we have? Chris Freda says, to echo what you said, Gilles, reception could be better, but I am rather fortunate that there is not much noise in my studio apartment. I don't have the space, but make do with the whip and some wire. You know, you do the best you can. And reader the X-ray. Well, you know what? I'm happy, really happy to promote your channel. I'm happy to promote anybody's radio channel if you can get to that 1,000 sub to make sure that you have monetization. Man Radio DXer. You know, they're getting harder on the rules on YouTube, and you know, we're paying for a lot of things. We're paying for the YouTubers are paying for some of the YouTubers that are bad YouTubers and that do bad content, and unfortunately those that haven't reached the 1,000 subscribers, you know, they're all ranting. I have a friend of mine that had started doing YouTube videos for some gaming stuff, and he had about 100 subscribers now, and he was kind of wanting to follow in my footsteps, because he watches what I do, and he's like, wow, you know, you can do a living on YouTube, and I admire that, and I would love to do the same thing. And I said, well, you can. It's hard, but you can. If you really want, you can. But you got to think about it as being a job. That's the reason why I earn a living on YouTube, is because from the beginning, when I started, I thought about YouTube as my main job. It's my work. When it's your work, you work. You know, you do 40 hours a week at whatever job you do. You got to do then. So my thinking is, I got to do at least 40 hours a week on YouTube. It's a job. And and you know, it took him a year to get 100 subs. And when YouTube decided to do the new rules with 1,000 subscribers, you know what? He kind of got discouraged and he stopped making videos. And I'm sad, because small YouTubers like that are honest and do content that's interesting to see, probably getting a little, you know, a little pissed off by the new regulations of YouTube, I guess. Juan Amigo, hello there. Nice to have you on board from Barcelona. Nice to have you here. If you're talking about me, MDK2, I'm going to put it in the chat room. Official. I can write. Hate when it does that. Just going to go back here. Sorry, guys. We'll be back in a few seconds. Just back in a few seconds. Yeah, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to go here. I want to drag the chat in a new window. Here we go. I hate Firefox. Sometimes it does weird things. So official shortwave radio. Official shortwave radio at gmail.com. If you guys want to send me your YouTube channels, it has to be, it's very important, it has to be, the majority of what you have on your channel needs to be radio related for me to actually talk about it. And Ernie Turner says 2 times down with a couple of losers. You know what, who cares? It's just funny. And they think that they are so cool and, oh yeah, we're gonna bring that guy down. Yeah, right. David Arden says, we moved from New York to Arizona via PEI. Wow. Was tuning 18 and 50 years later. It's still impressive. David Green, have a question. Are there any ways I could make money listening to shortwave that you know of? Either a real job or side income. I already put into it as much energy as a real job. David Green, there used to be listening posts a long time ago. There used to be listening stations where you could actually get a job listening to broadcasts and listening to stations from around the world, to actually give a report out and you know, tell every international broadcaster that they were making it or not, and so on. Now that doesn't exist anymore. The only way I can think of by making money listening to shortwave, honestly, today is to create a YouTube channel and be very, very persistent on it, and do your thing. I mean, everybody has its own thing. There's YouTube videos about, you know, stations you listen to, all sorts of things. Try to find your thing. You know, my thing is a mishmash of all sorts of things, but my thing is mostly, in for a lot of it, and it's the most popular videos, my live shows. My live shows on the shortwave channel is really driving my YouTube channel so much. I mean, my YouTube channel for shortwave got off a lot when I started making live shows. It was the thing, and it is still today the thing that drives the views and drives everything on my channel. If you remove, unless it's a review of a radio, most of the videos don't get that many views. I mean, you know, you got to do your thing. You got to find a way to do it. But apart from that, I can't think of anything else that that you could make money off, basically. Hey, Tom Zoo, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. Pretty cool to see everybody here. Jerry DX has got, yeah, Lelock, positive thoughts, always better. Jerry DX got 6070, which is CFRX. It's coming in a little better earlier, but not very strong right now. There's something on 6170. Radio Romania in English.
Major holiday, museums and ethnographical collections around the country are trying to contribute to its preservation by staging a series of exhibitions and seminars. In most of Romanian regions, the holiday of Lassie is still alive in the communities of Romania's mountainous regions. Tradition has it that praying on St. Lucia's Day grants protection against poverty and theft all year round. Birds are also believed to be able to speak.
So Radio Romania 6170. Bobby Burgess says 7780 strong, which is WRMI with oldies. Cool. Fabrice Simonet says, and good oldies. Hey, Mickey Delmage, nice to have you on board from Sherwood Park, Alberta. So you're going to the Winterfest, and yes, if you are in Montreal before or after, absolutely, it would be fun to do a little something. So let me know. Absolutely. We can do a little something together, or I don't know if you're meeting up also maybe with Sheldon or something. Maybe you could go restaurant, whatever. It'd be very, very, very nice. And I'll be that weekend. I'll be on that weekend. I'll be the replacement for Sheldon on his CKUT International Radio Report show. I'm heading down there at CKUT on Sunday, this Sunday and next Sunday, so I can understand the controls and how everything works. And I'll be at the controls. I'll be the masters of ceremonies at the International Radio Report in 3 weeks' time, which is kind of fun, kind of interesting. But absolutely, Nikki, be nice to meet up. Absolutely. Gotta find some way to do something. Absolutely. Jacob07, nice to have you on board. Bobby says, is RIAE Argentina to the World still on WRMI? Yes, they had stopped and they are back, and they are back with more languages. Actually, they've increased their output from WRMI. They've added some languages now, so apparently it's still there. David says it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. Mick H says he doesn't like your wire. Well, I don't like his face. Jacob07, I just got here and I'm hanging out in a fort I made in my dining room. Oh, really? Cool. Ralph Bender says 3955 KBS World Radio, strong for in the UK. Yeah, that's relayed from what, Germany, I think? No, it's 3955 somewhere. Is it from the UK or from Wolverton? You gotta check that out. 3955 is from. 3955 is from. Yeah, it's from Wolverton in the UK. Willow Slaw DX says, I've been doing well with Voice of Korea English language in Northern California. 1530. Wow. I haven't heard Voice of Korea in such a long time. Senjin 909X and 83-meter horizontal loop. That's a big wide. That's a big thing. Man Radio DX says, I'm not fussed about monetization, so not reaching 1,000 subs does not bother me, but I understand it for professional YouTubers. It's very annoying, and the less profit dished out recently. Yeah. I've got two things going well right now for me, because honestly, in 2017 I really thought I was about to just leave YouTube, and it's like, okay, I gotta find a decent job to do something. But monetization has been a little better since about September, and I've got an amazing amount of views in the past few months, and that's been helping a lot. When monetization isn't that great, when you get 30% more views or 40% more views, it helps a lot to compensate for monetization that's not super amazing. But I still go crazy when I look at 3 years ago how monetization was, and today it's such a much different beast, I can tell you that. But still, Mad Radio DXer, I don't think about it necessarily just for a professional YouTuber, because every time somebody tells me how should I monetize, I always tell them yes, because even if you have a full-time job, if you get a couple of $100 a month from YouTube, it's a couple of $100. You can put it on radios. You can put that on whatever. It's money, Why should you not accept monetization? Even though you're working and you're making a salary and everything. If you can make a couple of $100, why leave that to YouTube? Because if you're not monetizing, it's all going to YouTube. So why not monetize and get a chunk of it at least? else do we have? You know what? NDK2 says 93.95, then 455 around the clock. Favor is Q2H. Never as good as 58.50, 77.30, or 99.80. 58.50 is actually the best frequency for me here. Pretty much. 5850. Isn't, what is it now? 2200. Not receiving, propagation is weird tonight, honestly. Kind of weird tonight. Then Shortwave says, tell me about it. Now I have to have 1,000 subs to monetize. I was thinking of saying bye-bye, but I still have fun doing this, so as long as it's fun, I keep posting videos. Yeah, that's so sad. That is so sad, honestly. You know. Bill Mead says, we live in a time of more noise than ever and fewer stations than ever, but we also have access to dozens of remote receivers around the world, so it's still a great time to listen to shortwave. Absolutely, and you know what? Online receivers have two fantastic reasons to exist. One is we all have these broadcasts that we can't hear where we are. So for example, you know, there's a station broadcasting on a frequency that at that time cannot make it to North America. Hey, I will go online, take an online receiver, and tune in from an area where it's broadcasting to, and it's cool for that. The other thing is, you know what? Somebody that is thinking about shortwave but doesn't have a radio, hey, you want to try it out? Use an online receiver and tune around, and then you'll decide if you enjoy that enough to, you know, tuning the bands and having fun and listening to the radio. But online receivers are great also for that. What else do we have? Sorry. VK2FBAJ says, I have a channel but don't post as often as I'd like to. Work gets in the way. Always happy to have subscribers though. Yeah, just, you know, of course, a lot of work. You know, a lot of work is in the way, you know. Personally, I would like to post more videos on the Shortwave channel. I've not been posting enough in the past few months, and I have to get back into the hang of it. What is mostly the biggest problem right now is that I take care of 5 channels on YouTube. The other ones, you know, I totally forgot now. So I got 5 channels. They're all above 1,000 subs. All have the minimum requirements, or they're all monetized. So I'm lucky. I'm lucky for that. You know, I am monetized on everything I do with the 5 channels. But 5 channels is a lot of work to take care of. So you do a channel, and so I go by priority. The most popular of my channel is the Windows one. You know, and I try to prioritize the importance of each channel, which is taking some time away from some of the other channels I would like to do more, like the Shortwave one. So I really need to get back into kind of a schedule of making channels, you know. What else do we have? What else do we have? So pretty cool. Take care, NDK2. If we are still live. Nissan Greenwich, hello there from Dublin. Nice to have you on board. Hey, Cosmic Lettuce. Nice to have you on board from a temporarily wet southeastern Arizona. Cheers. I gotta get to that astronomy live show. Absolutely. I need to get that astronomy live show. I want to be there. So Mad Radio the Extra is asking, for those that watch this video, what could be more interesting to do? That's always a question. I think understanding, what people want me to do, even for me, what do people want me to do more? It's not always. Sometimes we're not getting. It depends. Sometimes we're getting in the right direction. Sometimes we're not getting in the right direction. It all depends. PLF Radio, Gilles, have you ever been to a shortwave transmitter site? Man, I have a... Sorry, guys. So, I've been to only one transmitter site for shortwave, and it's out in Alma, Quebec, near... in Saguenay. There was once a Bell system called Alma Radio, which was typically making calls from people that were up in fishing trips or going to hunt in hunting season and so on, in northern parts of Quebec where there's no phone service or anything. And they would actually patch phone calls to families. And they had a transmitter site that was in Alma. And I had 15 years ago, I had been there to see the antennas, and I could see the antennas of Bell. And I don't know if today they're still up and running. I know that the frequencies are still used for communications, but it doesn't seem to be, it seems to be like just a free-for-all. There's no more service per se for the communications for the phone patches. And the other place where I've been to see transmitter site in antennas is south of Montreal here. There's southwest near Chateauguay. There's a the medium wave stations. Back then when I saw them was the CBC on 690 kilohertz, and they was it CBC? No, it was not CBC. I'm sorry. It was CFCF 600 kilohertz, I believe, and they have antenna towers in which I think is in Kanawake, which is the natives natives reserve there. That's pretty much 2 times that I've been at a medium wave and shortwave transmitter site for something. What I would have loved seeing is the Sackville transmitter site in New Brunswick. When it was up and running, that must have been amazing to see. Willow Slaw DX says is receiving Radio New Zealand International on Northern California 15720. Wow, pretty cool. I don't think I hear anything there, but let's try it just for the fun of it. You know what? There's actually a very, very weak signal. So it means that it's barely making it, but it's making it somehow. Yeah, the Blue Moon beer. Yeah, I actually in a bar that I go to. Let me just go back here. I'm really far in the chat, I think. So let me go back down, 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 down. Sorry. So where was I, man? Where was I? It's really appreciated, David Green. You know. Okay, I'm just going down. Sorry, guys. Cumulative should be soon on 10715. Let's check it out. 10715. Let's see if there's anything there. There is a signal, so I don't know. Okay, so Brian, Iowa, yes, Blue Moon. I've had several Blue Moon beers. There's a bar downtown that I go to from time to time that has that beer, and I always take that one. I love it. I love it. Blue Moon is really, really good. Shana Radio, 6175. Lee Lock. Well, in total, okay. Just to put things straight, and if some of you have seen a certain guy making a video ranting about how I am a bad man, he's got one thing right, and it's true that I probably have created, okay, so I started YouTubing seriously in 2010, 2011. Back then, my idea was to build a channel, throw in videos of something, a specific subject, and see how it goes after a few months. And I would, drop the ones that don't work, keep the ones that seem to work better. And so I probably created, I easily 20 channels, easily 20 different channels. Then I got a specific amount of these channels that started getting some popularity of somewhat, some sort of popularity. But, you can't take care of 20 channels. It's impossible. Even if you work just doing that, it's too many channels to take care of. And making videos takes time. Plus the live shows that take hours to do, and, So, slowly I've been going down and down and down. So if you put YouTube in my name, you're going to see that I got tons of channels, but I've abandoned everything except 5 that are, driving enough views to maintain. And that's the total 5 that makes my monetization. But don't believe that guy. I'm not using other channels to promote my channels and to in a way of liking my videos, because he says I like my I click like on my videos from every other channel and stuff like that. I don't do that. Do I have hours and hours to spend every day to like my own videos with 20 different channels? No, I don't. If I would do that, I would not have time to make videos. And so that's where he's got it wrong, and he's just sad because he thinks that I'm cheating somehow, which I'm not at all. And that is the biggest problem. So, anyways, got a lot of YouTube channels for sure. Yeah, well, Band Radio DXer is same here. I've since I was self-employed, the tax people here in Canada are looking at everything I do all the time. So basically, what happens is that when I started monetizing, of course, the first thing that they noticed was, well, you got some money coming from something called Google. What is that? So, I can't avoid the taxes either. I can't avoid the taxes at all. Ernie Turner says, need a Paul DX the Cat show. Well, you know what? I'm sure I would get 1,000 subs very fast if I do a show with Paul the Cat. Only Paul the Cat. I can bet you 1,000 subs in just a month. Hey there, Leo, from Northport, Florida. Nice to have you on board, Leo. I'm fortunate also for something. I have to say, when I build a YouTube channel, what I will do, and honestly, I have no problems in doing that, and I don't see where's the problem there. If I would say I would do a Paul the Cat channel, I would promote it on all of my channels. In every live show I do, I would say, hey, I got a Paul the Cat channel. And you know what? Some people are annoyed at that. They say, well, you're promoting your another channel from it. Hey, my channels have the power to promote other stuff that I do. Why shouldn't I use the power of promotion of my strong channels to get a channel going? I don't see a problem there, you know. Yeah, it's sad because people get annoyed because they're like, well, you know, if I started a YouTube channel from scratch, I don't got anybody telling me or helping me out. Well, I'm sorry, but when I started YouTubing, I had 0 views and I had 0 subs. I started from 0, like everybody else. And I constructed something with all of the channels, the 5 channels that are left, basically. You know, the most popular one is my Windows channels. It's almost at 40,000 subscribers. Here I'm at, I think it was 12,000 I saw earlier. You know, it's just working hard and doing content that people want to see. You know? Cricket Ninja says the coolest transmitter site he's ever seen is North Texas. Got a peek at the U.S. space fence. Huh. So yeah, gotta check that out. Gotta check that out. Let's go see anybody that's interested in astronomy. Is there one tonight at 0200 Cosmic Lettuce? It was 0200 is what? It's 9 p.m. here. I'm gonna try to be there tonight, Cosmic Lettuce. I think it could be fun. I think it could be really, really fun. You know. Take care, David Snyder. Always nice to have you on board. VNF Sino says 94:10 a.m. Not bad. Mickey Delmash says, of course, 15/7/20. Our Radio New Zealand is booming in here. Talk with Sheldon Sunday and arrange a night out. Cool, Mickey. Absolutely. Arrange something and I'll be there. I'll be there. Would be really, really nice. Nick H. Hey, Zach Antle. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool. David Arden's got 15/7/20. New Zealand in Georgia. Pretty cool. No, the show started like 2 hours and 17 minutes ago. Hey, Sheldon Harvey, bonjour, hi. Nice to have you on board from Greenfield Park, Quebec. Cosmic Lettuce says, Gilles will continue to be a success on YouTube because he has a passion. Yeah, maybe that's it, you know. I have a passion for different things and for helping others also because, you know, I'm helping others on my my computer channel, my Windows channel here, you know, somewhat helping, and we're all helping together. It's kind of, you know, I want to do that. David Arden says, whoops, nothing wrong with promoting other channels. Yeah, I know. For some people, it's a problem, apparently. Richard Cook says, yeah, you're about 2 hours late. And he comes like, Shell, you gotta stop. I'm not here to promote my channel. Blush, let's talk shortwave. Hey, I told you guys, I don't mind about that. I'm happy if I can promote stuff. It's quite alright. Quite alright. Tree Hugger says you can try the International Space Station on space weather. Yeah, well, I track it. I always look at it, track it through my phone and stuff like that also. Will Sloss says, my dad worked for Voice of America for a long time. I saw the transmitter sites at Greenville, Delano, and Dixon. Not many people realized that doing operations back then was dangerous work. It is dangerous. I mean, you know, these high-powered transmitter sites and transmitters, it is totally dangerous. You got to be really careful. Really, really careful. By the way, the pirate flag, which is here right now, so it's kind of here right now, so you guys see just part of it, is here temporarily because what happened is I forgot during the week that I wanted to put it really up there so everybody could see it, like really, you know, in that space here that would be able, everybody would be able to see it. Now, I forgot about it during the week, and I thought about it an hour before doing the show. So I got the ladder up and everything to finally understand that unless I want to break a leg or something, I will have to move all of this a little bit, go in the back, put up the pirate flag, and then push everything back. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take it down, and I promise next show is going to be up there and very visible. The name of my Windows channel, it's youtube.com/theofficialwindows with an 8 at the end. But it's Windows and technology in general. So yeah, N2Y, absolutely. N2YO.com is a great place. Richard says Pirates stole it. So yes, I talked about it a little bit, absolutely, Sheldon, but not too much. But I did talk about the fact that there will be a co-hosting of International Radio Report for the next few weeks, and learning the controls at the station, which I kind of find really cool. So you know what? I think it's going to be a very nice experience for sure. So, you know. Well, you know, Zach, transmitter sites, especially high-powered transmitter sites, like the Voice of America that has, you know, 100, 250, 500 kilowatt transmitters. Lots of high voltage, and it is a very complex environment. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. And it says, somebody know here the ARRL activity field day? Yeah, the field day. I like the field day of Yanni. It's one of the things I love. There's the winter field day and the summer field day, which has all sorts of rules, like you got to operate off battery. You're not allowed to use, you know, power from the home. It's really recreating a the you know, emergency situation when something goes wrong, you know, in any event, and being able to still be up and running, transmitting and everything. Field days is a cool thing. I find that activity a very cool thing in amateur radio. Yeah, Mad Radio DX. You know what? Actually I got up on the ladder and I put 1 feet here, because I removed everything, and I put a feed here, and I heard a crack, and I was like, okay, this is a really bad idea that I'm having right now. So unless I want to be in the hospital, we're gonna put the flag there, and I'll find a way to put it up there at some point. So yep, high-powered HF is very different. RF burns. There's also, you know, these transmitters, they work in very high voltage, and the many kilovolts. You know, just like an amateur station. The people running 2 kilowatts or 1.5 kilowatts are using these huge power supplies that, you know, supply like a couple of kilowatts of power. It's crazy, really crazy. So, you know, I don't know. Triager says, field day is 3rd week of June each year. Yeah, but isn't there a winter field day also? I know that there's a field day and it's in June, but I believe there's a winter field day. I believe. Zach Antol, isn't there something with how certain frequencies of sound can damage? You know what? It's that Cuban thing. I've been reading today an article that some people have been having kind of concussions in Cuba with weird sound, or I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, honestly. I really don't know what to think, honestly. Pretty crazy. Mario the Exorcist Shell forgot to say the reason I asked about the flag is because I thought you withdrew it as you said some people were offended. No, I did not. Honestly, I will never remove it, Moderator DXer, because people are offended. You know, it's my thing, it's my YouTube channel. What I do is what I do. If you're not happy, you can go and watch somebody else's channel. And here is the star of the show. So you guys, I know you guys been waiting just for him. So, okay. Here he is. I will be leaving now, and Paul the cat will do the show for the next few hours. Hope you guys enjoy. And you know what? I haven't shown this, but look at that, okay? Sorry, man. I'm going to remove your little... Paul the cat is a new color. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but this color has little pirate cats on it. So let's just see if I can have it just kind of focus on this. It doesn't want to focus, but I'm trying another way. I'll try to do this. And here we go. So I don't know if the focus... Oh, the autofocus is off. I'm sorry, guys. So all across his little band here are little pirate cats with a patch on one eye. So, and of course he has his little heart medal with, you know, phone number, name, everything he needs to come back if he gets lost. So basically he's got a pirate cat necklace. It's just funny. It's just funny. It's just funny. Oh, Jerry says there was just a winter field day 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think there is a winter field day. Absolutely, that's what I think. Oh, last month, David Arden. Okay, last month. Cool. Okay, I thought there was one, a winter one. Vianney says, I want to give you information about our participation for 2018 Field Day. Give it to usual and on your show for sure at the end of June. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's kind of cool. Really cool. So, hey, Paul. Kiki says hello. So maybe we can, you know, it's Valentine's Day was 2 days ago. We can maybe match up Kiki and Paul the cat. Though he's been kind of, he's not, maybe not as masculine as he once was, but anyways. So Mr. Paul the cat saying hi. Everybody knows. Everybody wants to see Paul. So, you know. Chris Freda says, featuring DXing with Paul. I imagine a channel, DXing with Paul. And he always, you know, like, do you like this chat? Do you like this station? This is Radio Romania. What do you think about it? Oh, meow. Okay. Well, I think he likes it. So, you know. I mean, you're the one that jumped on the fence and you amazed me today. Just crazy. Jerry says 9395 WRMI playing the Who. Oh, okay. I'm hearing the Cuban number station right now from with the lady on 10715. It's not very strong, but it's there. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. So you're watching the Shortwave show. We're here every Fridays, 2000 hours UTC. No shows tomorrow, by the way. And no shows tomorrow. We'll be back with 2 shows next week. Next week is the Pirate. Actually, the Pirate. Next week is the VHF UHF show. And basically, now he's in love with me. You're in love with me? Yeah? So basically, next week will be the VHF UHF show at 2000 hours UT. And next Saturday we'll have, of course, a Shortwave show. And yes, so as we were talking, I will be part of the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM on this Sunday, next Sunday, and basically 3 weeks in a row. It's going to be a fun experiment and a fun thing, actually. And you know, I'll have the what's cool about it is I'll have the knowledge to run the stuff. So if there's ever some last-minute emergencies. Well, I'll be happy to fill in Sheldon for sure. Brian Iowa says, okay, Vianney, so is Paul DX or DX Paul? Well, it's actually, okay, his name is Paul, but at the beginning, when he showed up in the shows for the first time, we were calling him DX, and that comes from the fact that back in 2000, what is it, 2000, it's going to be 3 years that I have Paul the Cat. So back in 2015, in June, the first time I saw him, I was in the IRC chat room, and I said, hey, there's a cat that just showed up. And I made a video about it, and somebody said, call him DX. Because I was like, well, you know what? That's kind of cool, calling the cat DX. But he has his official name, which is Paul, because he's the cat from the previous neighbor. And the cat chose me. So when the neighbor moved, she told me, okay, my cat wants to go out to see you all the time. He doesn't want to stay in my home. He wants to go out to go to your home. And most of the time, he sleeps at your place. I think he loves you more than me. So do you want to have my cat? And I said, well, I was kind of, you know, well, I'm a little sad because I had the impression of stealing her cat. But in reality, he chose me, so, you know. And she said, well, you know what? I want my cat, I want Paul to be really, really happy. And he's obviously happier with you than with me. I said, okay. So, you know. So anyways, he's officially my cat now. He's going to be 3 years now. That really, really goes fast. It's going to be 3 years in June that he's here all the time. Hey, David in Barcelona, Raptor 22. Nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. Absolutely, Cosmic Lettuce. When a cat chooses you, it's, you know, it's done. It's done. So, you know. One amigo says, hello, Paul. He's like my cat, Seti. Huh. He's a nice little cat. I'm just going to put the camera up a little bit, man. I'm sorry to disturb you in your moments of purring and being happy. So, you know. So welcome, David in Barcelona. Nice to have you here. And, of course, you are watching the Shortwave show. So we've been on for, what, 2 hours and 30 minutes now? And even Paul can resist. So just a quick update. If you wish to help me out, always welcome at paypal.me/shortwave, or you can send it to the Yahoo email that I am posting. Here we go. And patreon.com /radio and computers. There we go. PayPal is kind of better because Patreon is a little, you know, weird to set up. So anybody hearing anything special in the bands right now? Zach Antle says, I wish my hair was the color of his fur. Oh man, that would be as long as it doesn't have all the little rings of white and you know, kind of golden hair. Man, no, Paul doesn't seem worried at all. You know what the funniest thing? There's my my next door neighbor that owns a little home where Paul goes all the time in the yard. She's like 90 years old, and so she has this guy come over to you know, mow the lawn, and in the wintertime he comes over and, you know, removes the snow and everything, and he has this huge dog, and it's just so funny because the dog and Paul actually are kind of friends. So one day I see this really huge dog. He's really big. He's as big as me. It's incredible. It's a huge dog, and I'm like, okay, dog is there and Paul's in the yard, so I'm kind of worried. No, the dog gets next to Paul and Paul gets next to the dog, and they're like, hey, a new friend. I'm like, okay. It's kind of funny. So that's why he's not worried about the Chinese Year of the Dog, which starts today, by the way. It's Chinese New Year today. We're February 16th. Zakento says he also looks like Sinbad, the cat we had in Hawaii. Ah, or Simba. Okay. Hey, XNEDXer, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool, Keegan. Jerry says, I thought I heard your cousins on 5275. It's totally possible. They're often there. I hear them more in the summertime. The problem is in the wintertime, there's not as many people up north. But it's totally possible. Totally possible. You know what, Richard? You said you should try other SDRs. You're giving me an idea. Next Saturday show, I think we're going to devote it to online SDRs, online receivers. I think it's going to be a great idea to do that. So thanks for mentioning that, because I think it's going to be a nice... We're going to go online and we're going to use online receivers and see the DX that we can hear from different receivers around the world. I think that would be a nice one. And that would be a nice idea also for people that don't have a shortwave radio that want to try out shortwave and tune in. I think it's going to be cool. Totally cool. So, hey Sheldon, we were talking before you arrived with Mickey out in Alberta, that when he goes to the Shortwave Fest, he's going to be stopping by Montreal. We should have a way to meet up somehow and have a little something together, a little supper, whatever. Maybe go to a restaurant together or something. I think that would be a fun evening. Absolutely. Manuel DXer says, I recommend trying for Japanese SDRs. I like to listening to them on medium wave for North Korean stations. Actually, we're going to go through tons of different SDRs. There's a few SDRs that I like. When I go to sdr.hu, which is kind of nice. Let's go to sdr.hu, and here the tons of receivers in here. It's just amazing. One that I like is the Sweden one, SK3W, the second one. 3 users out of 4 right now. I love this one. It's amazing, especially at night. I get tons of things there. We're going to try different ones. We're going to try tons of SDRs, and we'll try them out. We'll try them out. I think it's going to be cool to do so. Jerry says 9395 is at S20. Wow, 9395. Let's check it out. Oh, it's got the... I can hear the song, which is Popcorn. I know this song is called Popcorn, but it's very weak. S8 at the strongest is S8 here. That's the song Popcorn. C. Johnson, are those ferrets on those antennas behind you? The little black thing? No, these are, well, kind of. They're actually, I can maybe remove this. They're kind of, here we go, if you want to see them. These are, you know, in reality, all they do is just readjust the antenna's resonance, basically. So they're kind of, you know, they're not ferrets, but they're more like, you know, kind of a bunch of wire just in a loop to readjust the frequency tuning of the antenna, basically. So this is pretty much what it looks like. So, you know, wow, a song from Sting. It's the, If You Need Somebody, Set Them Free from Sting, playing on 93.95. I actually love Sting a lot. So, what else do we have? What else do we have? Can we bring up a Norwegian station? Well, one of those SDRs like the Swedish one. I hear tons of things. One of the fun things that I like to do with these SDRs is actually tune in the medium wave band, because depending on where you are, it's just incredible how the stations there. I was tuning to the medium wave band the other night on that Swedish SDR and listening to BBC 4. I listened to tons of stations that you don't really know where they are, but they're in different languages. A couple of one that that they're like, okay, sounds like some kind of Nordic language, like Swedish or Norwegian, or I don't have enough of an ear to make a difference between Swedish and Norwegian or Finnish. For me, they sound all the same, but I'm sure there's a way to differentiate, because they aren't the same, really. So so there's one in the Arctic Circle. Oh, interesting. Okay. What is there? I can't also holy crap! I heard that song in the Snowman movie, which is instead in Norway. Yeah, it's like a coil. Finally, C. Johnson. Absolutely. I was searching for that term and I couldn't find it, but it's like a coil. Absolutely. David says he uses the Kiwi SDR often. Absolutely. So the one he uses is, where is it? I got the link. Where is that one? Paste. Darn. Try to find. It's okay. Yeah. Paste. And remove the crap that's next to it. Where's that one located, David? Joao Sombra says, new house, hello. Home location. The only way to listen to shortwave radios is through SDR's websites. So many QRM using my shortwave receivers, new and vintage ones. Yeah, unfortunately, for some of us, the SDRs are a way to be able to listen to shortwave. When I listen to these SDRs, I see how easy it is and how amazing reception is, and it reminds me when shortwave was like that, and unfortunately it's not all that. So yep, absolutely, Jerry. Artists, bands. Manreader the Exer says Zach Entels is easy to tell Finnish. It sounds so weird. Manreader the Exer says, if I set up my SDR for next week, will you tune it on the show? I can only be remotely tuned using SDR console. Well, if you do it, I will install SDR console on this computer, and you'll just have to let me know the details of how to join your SDR. But that would be nice. That would be fun to tune around from your SDR, Manreader the Exer. Absolutely, I would be happy to do so. So, hey guys, I'm going to take a pause because I've been drinking my beer a little faster, so that means I also have my natural response of my body saying you gotta pee. And so I will let you guys let's check out what I can let you guys with. So okay, that's the no. Okay, I will leave you guys with Algeria from France on 5905 while I go pee. Okay, I'm sorry it's not in English, but I need to take a little break. 5 minutes. No, 2 minutes.
ومن يشرك بالله فقد ضل ضلالا بعيدا. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم: من مات يشرك بالله شيئا دخل الجنة ومن مات يشرك بالله شيئا دخل النار. رواه مسلم. أيها المستمعون الكرام، هناك الجزء الثاني من الشهادة وهي محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. فهذا لابد من معرفته أيضا بأن الله تعالى لا يقبل عملا إلا إذا توفر فيه الشرطان: التوحيد والإخلاص لله، زائد المتابعة لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال الله تعالى: فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا. فالعمل الصالح هو الموافق لما جاء به رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا يشرك بعبادة.
And we are back. And we are back. Nature was kind of calling now. Okay, so that's Algeria, via France on 5905. Okay, you're listening and watching the Shortwave show for Fridays. We're here every week at 2000 hours UTC. No show tomorrow, so next show will be next week. 2 shows next week. On the Friday show, which will be February the 23rd, we will have our VHF UHF show next week. On Saturday the 24th, we'll be back on this channel on shortwave stuff. 2000 hours UTC, always at 2000 hours UTC. Hope you enjoy to the show for sure. Richard says U20 SDR is a good one as well. Yeah, it is an amazing. The one in the Netherlands is an amazing one. Absolutely, it was just crazy. Well, we'll set it up. Just send me a little message, something, Mad Reader DX, and we'll try to set it up. It won't be that difficult, honestly. You just have to set it up in the SDR console. I'll install the software and we'll just work it out and see what we can do. Zach Antle says, in fact, if you'd like to get a good earful of Finnish, look at a game called My Summer Car. It takes place in Finland. Oh, okay. David says that QSDR in Shenzhen, China. I like it because it's distant enough from Spain to offer me different signals, and at the same time I can use it to DX signals that are local to me. You know what? I have one. I've used one a lot that was on the other website. Oh man, what's the name of that website? That also has online receivers. Anyways, there's one in Hong Kong. And I would use that one in Hong Kong to hear signals that I know I cannot hear here. And it was kind of cool. And it's crazy because when you tune one of the Asian SDRs, it is so amazing the amount of signals that you got there. Compared to here in North America, where it's so quiet on the bands, it's just crazy. Even you guys in Europe are kind of lucky, because you guys have a lot more stuff to listen to easily than here in North America. And you guys are lucky bums also, Just crazy. Hello there, Russia. Nice to have you on board. And we also have another viewer in Russia called iMapper in Moscow. Nice to have you here. Nice to have people from around the world. It's just so amazing when we think about it, that from this vantage point, from a YouTube show of some sort, Hey Michael Bott, nice to have you on board. He says that there's new AirSpy HF Plus firmware released today. So the new AirSpy software released today for those that are using the AirSpy. Thank you for the information, Michael. And our Mike Bott. Oh, it's really, really nice to have that information available. Radio Taiwan also, there's a little thing I want to talk about. Radio Taiwan International is reducing once again its shortwave outlet. They are removing the French language service from Taiwan, Radio Taiwan International. So you know what, Radio Taiwan's slowly fading away. It's really sad. I remember back in the 80s when it was called Voice of Free China. For those that wondered, in the 80s we had a station called Voice of Free China. It was Radio Taiwan. That's the name the station had back then. Crazy when you think about it. You know, hey William Helms, no worry about it. And it's pretty cool. Yeah, that school shooting in Florida. It's been pretty much all over the news here too. So sad, so sad. You know, so sad to hear to have these young lives gone because of some nut. 7490. Let's try it again. Nope. WBCQ's really over my head. I can tell you that. Let's check out what we can hear. I'm going to start at like 5,000 kilohertz and see what we can listen to. So there's Radio Rebelde in Cuba on 5025. So Radio Rebelde on 5025 from Cuba. 5040. Radio Havana, Cuba on 5040. And that one on 5130. Hey, look at that! We've stumbled across our jailbird, the jailbird. Yeah, jailbird stare is here.
Aligning together against the Middle East policy that's being instituted by the trumpet blower. Or blower trumpet in Zion. Sound the alarm in my most holy mountain.
So, Radio Brothers there, 5130 coming in well from WBCQ, I believe is on 5130. And Jailbird Stare is there. Yeah. Actually, there was some worry about it. You know, was it just a French language service? And I think there's another one that I don't remember what language. But really sad to see that. Right now it says, anybody doing anything cool with the Raspberry Pi that has to do with radio? Well, you can set up an SDR on the Raspberry Pi. You can set it up as a receiver with a RTL SDR. You can do a lot of things with the Raspberry Pi radio related. Yeah, Zach, I think pretty much everybody said the same thing. So what else do we have? Richard Cook says no WWV or RWM near 5,000. 5,000 exactly. I'm not receiving WWV. It's very weak. It's there, but it's very weak. And 4996. Let's check it out. Nope. My best chance for RWM is in the spring, like in March, 9996. And in the summertime, I get quite regularly 14996 RWM. So let's continue tuning around. Anything else? Let's move this to the left side here. What else do we have in here? Some NATO link digital stuff. Stanag on 5216. Stanag on 5247. What's that here that just appeared? Some FT8 on 5357 kilohertz, which is a ham band. Radio teletype here. RAF Valmet from the UK. Royal Air Force Valmet. 5450 upper sideband.
150 degrees turn up. Visibility 10 kilometers in air, cloud. Traffic 3,000 feet. Temperature 22. Dew point 17. Runway 101. Northeast. No information available.
Yeah, a lot of the stations stop broadcasting and don't really do much, you know. The only one, like Thailand, is broadcasting to North America, but boy, it's a difficult one. Here in the East Coast, it's a very difficult one, honestly. But there's a lot of stuff on in Asia, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, C. Johnson says Raspberry Pi can run GQRX. What's the joystick on top of the Amiga? Never seen that one. It's a Commodore joystick. It's a Commodore branded joystick. And one of the best ones that I still have that works well. I've got some Atari 2600 joysticks there. One is broken, one is kind of flaky. And I have to open it and check it out. But this one is a Commodore branded joystick. I was actually playing winter games on the Atari with it. Because the same joysticks, and because of the winter games, I had Epic's winter games and played a game of winter games on the Atari 1040 the other night. I had a lot of fun with that because that's one of the games I would play when I was young. Zach says, which did you get into first, radios or computers? Radios were the first, because I really started being very, very fond of radios, early 1980s, 1982. And I got my first computer, a Commodore VIC-20, somewhere early in 1983 maybe. So radios came first. And for a while, radios were more important than computers. Then it was like a mix of as important one or the other as time went on. MDK2 says RWM last summer, got a lot last summer, 9996, but I have yet to hear it. Yeah, I hear it sometimes on 4996 when it's really strong because I have a lot of noise there. 14996 I hear quite often. It's quite easy to receive if you choose the correct day, but maybe here in Montreal maybe a little easier, but I hear it quite a lot. Quite a lot. So yeah, David, absolutely. The focus of shortwave has moved. You know, it kind of removed itself from North America. And you know, I would like to see statistics when stations started going away, and you know, let's put ourselves in say in 1995 when there was still a lot of stuff on shortwave. What was the audience? You know, I gotta think that the audience in North America wasn't there compared to other continents, because if you remove your audience, if you remove your station from broadcasting to North America, that means, and I mean, these stations have statistics. They get listener mail, you know. So they surely took the decision to continue on other continents because there were more mail from there than from North America, I would guess. So I don't know. David Green, I think multi-PSK. Multi-PSK is the best for Stanag. Isn't Stanag decoded by multi-PSK? Let me just go back here. We're just going to check out the modes. So yeah, receive screen, Stanag. Most of it is encrypted, by the way. I'm sorry to say so. But there's a few stations that are still... Stanag. Really good question here. What do you guys use to decode Stanag? I'm pretty sure I've seen it here. I'm trying to find it. I never can find a mode in multi-PSK. It's so difficult with that really bad interface. Yeah, let's go here. Field health, voice. Okay, domino, FK. Well, I'm trying to see it here, but I don't see it. SSTV, outtakes, analysis, yeah, AL, RTTY, HAL80, voice, GT. What are you guys using to decode Stanag? I don't seem to find it in the multi-PSK. My, I don't know. I don't see it. Huh. So what is everybody using? That's a good question, finally. What is everybody using to decode Stanag? I know that there's a little bit of Stanag that's unencrypted, like the one from Senegal, but most of it is encrypted. Shitty Pyro 90, hey there. Sometimes in the morning, my location, I get the time signal station from China mixed with WWV on 5,000 kilohertz. That's cool. Pirate Station, voice of the Yeti on 6925. 6925, let's check it out. 0.2. So, anything there? I've got absolutely no signal on 6925. So 6925.2 AM, voice of the Yeti with some slow scan TV stuff. The Xer says could be BPM mixing on 5,000 kilohertz. I probably heard BPM a few times mixed in. It doesn't happen often, but mixed in on like 10 megahertz or things like that, depending on the time of day that I listen to. Because sometimes there is. Where is it? I haven't seen the Stanag on multi-PSK. No, I don't. No, I don't think FLDG decodes Stanag. No, absolutely. Stanag, for most of it, is encrypted. But there's apparently a news bulletin being sent out in French from Senegal in Stanag. And there you got meaningful stuff that you can actually understand. But the rest of it is encrypted. I mean, there's almost nothing that's not encrypted. So, you know. Well, the slow says you picked up Radio Thailand 0-100 UT on 13745. Usually weak. Well, I've got my eye that stings. So, oh, it's called 4285. Okay, Ralph Bender, let's check it out again. Because I didn't see it. Whoops, not that. Multi-PSK. Because I'm pretty sure I've seen Stanag in multi-PSK. On the right side menu, on the professional mode. Okay, thanks for the info. So we're going to go on multi-PSK, professional modes, right side. Oh, 4285. Stanag 4285. That's why I didn't recognize it, because it doesn't say Stanag. It says just 4285. So, 4285. Let's just, for the fun of it, Go to 52, whatever, when there's a strong one. And let's check this one here, which I believe is Stanag. And let's check multi-PSK if it does something. This might not be the Stanag that he wants, but I've never tried to decode Stanag before. So I don't know. But the only one that I've seen that, and I think it's the only one that I know, it's the one from Senegal that is actually apparently unencrypted. SWL France SDR, bonsoir, bienvenue. So nice to have you on board. Oh, I'm crying from an eye. I don't know what's in what happened, but it's crying. So, oh, Mario the Extra says, okay, wait a minute. Okay. Shodi Pyro says, speaking of M08 8136 lower sideband on the Dominican Republic SDR, really? 8136 lower. Oh, I'm actually getting it. The Morse code. It's not very strong, but it's there. 8136 lower sideband. M08A out of Cuba, which is the Morse code number station. It's not very strong, but it's there. Yeah, it's there. I'm hearing it. Morse code on 8136 lower sideband. So, not super strong, but it's there. I'm receiving it here in Montreal. Oh man, Chris Freitas. You know what? Track and field was actually the game that was the worst ever for a joystick. Just is, I remember playing a game called Decathlon by Activision with a friend of mine, and when you would do the 1500 meters, you would have to, you know, go with pace on left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, and at the end, when you would, like, you know, sprint, you would have to go as fast as possible on the joystick. And it was so bad, because it's like, first of all, it was like training for real. Both of us were dead after doing the 1500 meter run, but man, it was so hard on the joysticks. I can tell you one thing, that game probably broke tons and tons of joysticks from the time. It's crazy. So Manreader the Xer says, just found out another Stanag decoder called Sorcerer Decoding Software. Huh, that's kind of interesting. Huh, okay. So our friend in Russia says, friends tell me how to receiver Texan PL600, get rid of the problem in SSB mode, crying signal, cannot listen to the broadcast. Who know how to repair it? You know, one of the biggest problems on the PL600 is that slow and single sideband mode. It tends to be kind of wobbly and difficult sometimes. Google Texan PL600 mod, M-O-D. There's a lot of mod. One for the audio, because the PL600 has one major issue. Its audio is very harsh. I know because I have one here. There's all sorts of modifications that you can actually do. So David says, multi-PSK could win an award for the worst interface ever in history of software. Okay, you know what? Multi-PSK, I love for what it does, and it, you know, we can as much as we want. it's amazing for what it can decode and what it can do. But man, even a regular mode, I mean, I remember going to amateur modes, and I think I took 20 minutes before I could find how to decode PSK31 in multi-PSK, because I just couldn't find it in the darn thing of little buttons. Until at some point I said, well, it's there. Oh, why didn't I see it the 50 times that I went through the damn thing? So yes, it's an amazingly cool piece of software to decode. It's an amazingly bad interface. Absolutely. Can tell you that. Ah, God. Rob Bender says, yes, Sorcerer is also a good one for Stanag. Huh. Interesting. I want to check it out. Sorcerer, what's the name? Sorcerer what? I have to check that out. Sorcerer. Wait, I'm just going to go here. Okay. Sorcerer. Okay, and last one. Sorcerer. I'm gonna Google Stanag Sorcerer. Stanag Sorcerer. Whoops. Sorcerer. What did it bring me? Sorcerer decoder download KD0CQ. Look at that. Okay. KD0CQ.com has Sorcerer decoder download. This is a virus. This version, I like the fact that it says right there on the screen, this is a virus-free version. That doesn't actually help me download it. This is a virus-free version, because the other version we had before was snooping on you without you knowing it. Oh man. Okay. Sorcerer is a collection of decoders for modes found in the ELF SHF range. Okay. It actually supports receivers too. Huh. Okay. Kind of interesting. It decodes tons of things too, from what I see here. And don't forget, guys, it's the virus-free version. Oh God. Oh God. The Senegal Stanag is on, and I'm going to tell you in a few seconds. Stanag. So the Senegal Stanag is, let me just check it out. I remember. Okay, Stanag. There's 12857. 12857. Let me just try it out. 12857. I'm not listening to anything there. Oh, I hear it. It's not very strong, but it's there. It's in French. 12857. 13357. What? It's not 410. It's 13357. Oh yeah, no, it's sorry, wrong. Man Radio DX, you're right. 13410. 13410. And I hear it also. Wow. Let me just try. I gotta try multi-PSK now. So 13417, you are right, man. Radio DXer. Stanag. Professional modes. 3285. And I'm getting some weird stuff coming out that has absolutely no sense. Unless it's too weak to really decode. Let's try, the other one was Senegal Stanag. 12857. 12857. So I hear it. I hear the Stanag. But I just get nonsense. Oh no, I do get. Look at that. I just got the decode. Testing, testing RY. Look at that. Voyez-vous le géant? Yes. I just decoded some Stanag for the first time in my life. And I have the identification 6W, 6W, 6WW. This 6WW is the Senegal, Dakar, Senegal Stanag. I just decoded Dakar, Senegal Stanag. I'm so darn happy. Look at that. Here there's nonsense. But man, maybe the signal's just not strong enough, because when it's strong enough, I got the ID, and I got a French. This is French. Voyez-vous le brick géant que j'examine? This is the, you know, you guys, when there was a test in English for radio teletype, it was, what was it? The lazy dog jumps over the whatever. I'm trying to remember what's the phrase. Well, that phrase that I had here is the French equivalent of the lazy fox jumps over the whatever, the lazy dog or something like that. The fox jumps over the lazy dog, something like that. So I just decoded for the first time Stanag. Now here is all rubbish, but I actually got it for the first time. I'm so happy. I'm gonna do more of it. But apparently they have a French language news bulletin, and sometimes they have all sorts of information there. So this one is unencrypted. Okay, I'm happy now. I just decoded Stanag for the first time in my life. Woohoo! Man, that's gonna be so cool. It is so cool. Well, come on. It's probably just... Okay, RY. This was decoded right. It's sending like a test loop all the time. But it's not strong enough. It is quite weak. So when it doesn't decode well. But definitely, for the first time in my life tonight, decoded Stanag. Wow, this is so cool. This is so cool. But it's not strong enough to have a solid decode. That's the only problem. I'm going to have to check it out. So 12857 and 13410. I'm going to listen. I'm going to try that tomorrow, or for sure. Tomorrow I'm going to check out a few times during the day. I will actually check that out for sure. For sure. Wow. David says, are the viruses available on a separate download? Shitty Pyro 90 says, also hearing HM01 mix M08A. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So this is cool. This is absolutely cool. Really, really nice. Ah, that's a really good question, Bobby Burgess. I have no idea if you can run multi-PSK and Wine on Linux. That's something I need to try out. I've never tried Wine on Linux much. I've tried it a little bit, but not enough. Yeah, so David Arden says, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Yeah, that's the lazy dog's back. So that's the phrase in English. Or the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Something like that. So what I saw earlier, and I can probably scroll back. Yeah, I know I got just 5 minutes of whatever. So when I got back here, this phrase here Voyez-vous le brick géant que j'examine près du grand wharf? That's French. That's the French version of the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. It's the same equivalent. And for those that wonder what that means, it's because that phrase in French or in English uses every single letter of the alphabet. So in the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog's back, you have all 26 letters of the alphabet. So it's a test phrase to see that it decodes well. And when you decode a digital mode, by the way, and you see RY, RY, RY all the time, that is kind of a synchronization phrase. It just means, okay, you get this, you're going to get the rest of the text and the rest of the transmission if you want. So it's a very common thing too. But that was the French equivalent of the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So thanks, guys. Hey there, Kamal Zoro. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, but Wine is a Windows emulator in Linux MDK2. So you can run Windows software within the emulator in Linux. Yes. So that's why Wine is a Windows emulator within Linux. It's just that it's not perfect. There's a lot of things that emulator, that virtualization doesn't do well. So does it work within? You know, Wine works a lot on a way of you have specific software that are designed, that Wine has been designed to work with. So I don't know if that is, you know, where I would see a problem with Wine and multi-PSK is maybe on the audio input output. The audio input output, maybe that's where the problem could be. But if the audio input output works within Linux and Wine, that would maybe would work. So for those that wonder what Wine was, it's like a it's running Windows in virtualization within Linux. So it will run software, but it's not a Windows version. It's a Windows emulation. So it doesn't necessarily work very well with some software. When it works well, it does. When it doesn't work well, I can tell you. Okay, Tom Zoo says if you have Wine, multi-PSK will run on Linux. So I think we got an answer here. Tom Zoo says if you have Wine, you will run multi-PSK on Linux. So if it does work, cool. Why not? That's pretty nice. You're watching the Shortwave show, and I'm all excited because I was able to decode some Stanag. It's the first time ever. I had never decoded. Actually, you know what? I never had taken time to decode it because every time I'd see Stanag stuff, I was like, nah, it's encoded, it's encrypted. There's nothing you can do about it. So because it was encrypted, I had not taken the time to do it. But I did know that, because after reading a lot of stuff, I knew that the Senegal one was not encrypted. It was one of the only ones that was not encrypted. So, you know what? Kind of interesting. Really nice to see the code. It's just sad that it's not strong enough. Oh, it's maybe better now. Let's try it out a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna shut it down and turn it back on because it only has a 5-minute decode time in the free version. So we're gonna have it our next 5 minutes. Okay, here it goes. The other thing that I don't know is my decoding. Wait a minute, I'm not in the right place here. Professional modes, 4285. Here we go. Yeah, look at that. That is decoding. 6W, 6W, W, 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 R, R, Y. It's repeating a loop. Testing, testing, R, Y, R, Y. It has the French phrase, and it has the idea of 6WW. Voyez-vous le brick géant que j'examine près du grand wharf, which is a French version of the lazy dog. It's decoding well right now. Testing, testing. FAAA from 6WW, 6WW. It's decoding super well right now. Well. Huh. I'm still excited. My first Tanang. So, okay, Tom Zoo, it's 4285. When you're in the professional mode, look at the square called 4285. 4285, that's the Stanag. It's Stanag 4285. Because Stanag has different formats. There's 4285, but there's other formats. So that one decodes 4285. This is amazing. I'm like, yeah, I need a license, absolutely, Ralph Bender. I would need to buy the license, absolutely. But I'm still all excited from the decode of the Stanag from Senegal. And you know, there's two things: the decode, but also that's kind of cool. That signal's coming from Dakar, Senegal, in Africa. It's also kind of cool, you know. You know, propagation isn't that bad. If you think that 12857 is dark, so it's you know, nighttime from Senegal to Montreal over the Atlantic Ocean, and 12857 is still propagating. The maximum usable frequency isn't that bad actually. It's pretty high right now. Pretty high. Pretty interesting. Okay, well, okay. Can I increase? Let's check it out. Okay, increasing the font size. Let's check it out here. Yeah, I know you guys can't see that. Adjustments, configuration. Where do I set the font size in the decode here? Because yes, that would be amazingly cool to have. Fonts. Is that here? Text, color, receive background color, receive font. Here we go. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do bold. Okay, we're gonna do bold, and we're gonna take. Okay, was that better? We're gonna see in a few seconds. Oh yeah, that will be better. I think you guys might see this one. So let me just put the volume up again. And here we go with a big font. Now it's messed up. That is messed up. Here we go. KKK. Testing, testing, RY. Voyez-vous le brick? It's so fast. Okay. So now we're gonna just do one thing. We're gonna put the volume at 0, and we're gonna look at it together. So okay, here I can scroll through it. So look at that. RY, RY, RY. Then we got 0987654321. Voyez-vous le brick géant que j'examine près du grand wharf, which is the French equivalent of the lazy dog, or the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Then you've got INTZBZ, I don't know what that is. KKK, FAAA, de, or from, 6WW, 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 which is Senegal call sign, 6WW. And then you got testing, testing. And it restarts and loops like that all the time. So That was Tanak from Senegal. Jose plays FIFA. Hello there. Nice to have you on board. Man, this is cool. Tomazu says 12580 USB Morse code unknown signal. That must be 12580. Check it out. That's WLO. It's a maritime station. It's a channel marker. Yeah, Morse code is WLO. So this is WLO in Mobile, Alabama. Channel marker, Tomazu. So it's kind of cool. Cosmic Lettuce says, live decoding on the live stream. How cool is that? Yeah, absolutely. How cool is that? So, hey, Free Saxon. So this kind of, you know, and I will say it all again and again and again. Is exactly why I am always excited, you know, with shortwave. There's always something new that you've never done before. There's always something that's out there to listen to that might be an insignificant signal. You're like looking at it like, doesn't look like anything. And then you go there and it's like, well, you know. Take care, Ralph Bender. Always nice to have you on board. So, 12788. Yeah, I think it's time for... Do I hear something? I'm not hearing anything. But 12788... 12789. It's 12. Okay, there's a fax. I'm hearing something. It's very weak. So 12788 is New Orleans Coast Guard weather. 12788 is the New Orleans Coast Guard weather. So let's do NMG. At this time, it could be on 4316. So let's try 4316 upper sideband. I hear it a little bit. 43916 from New Orleans. No, it's New Orleans 12788 at this time. 4316 is there. What other frequency we can try for? 8502. 8502 is not making it. It's there from 2315 to 2350. Any other frequency apart from that? 12788. And let's check it out. 5960. By the way, yeah, Voice of Turkey coming in really well. 5960.
Early 1995 prevented me from proceeding to lobby. I did try to get involved again late in 1998 and wrote to you once again from my new West Camel address, and thank you for interesting and appreciated reply package. However, further written activities was not to be. Until a couple of years ago, that is somewhere during 2016, I began to have a little time available to do so. Restoring my radio receiving from 1918. I am making some time to enjoy radio once again and making contact today. I look forward to tuning in again, hopefully, once I have established properly when and where to find your transmission for a which a program schedule guide will be the most useful. Thank you. Mr. Albert Ford, we thank you. We will send
it's a mailbag show.
And next message from USA from Mr. Otto Schwartz. The standard question of the month. Saint Nicholas was born in Mali. Although my iPad says he was born in Patara, Lika.
So Voice of Turkey 5960. Vianney says he's receiving a super reception here too. So Voice of Turkey with the mailbag program right now. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So what else do we have? Always nice to have everybody on board. Madria DX says, nice to hear a shortwave station still do a DX listener show like Romania. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's kind of fun to... I remember one of the things that I really enjoyed when, as a young shortwave listener, when I started, I always enjoyed the mailbag programs because it would put me in the context of, hey, I'm not the only one doing this around the world. We are a lot of people doing this around the world. And a lot of people having fun listening to stations. So every time there would be a mailbag show of some sort, I would always listen to the mailbag show because it was like, it's kind of cool. Other people are doing the same thing that I'm doing. Let's face it, I don't know about you, but me, apart from my best friend back then that did some shortwave listening because of me, I didn't know anyone. My sister was an amateur radio operator, but a shortwave listener, I didn't know anyone. And you know what? It tells us that that hobby, even back in the 80s, was not a hobby that was really popular, because when I did my school lecture on shortwave, in a class of 30 young girls and guys, nobody knew that it existed. Nobody knew that that was something that was happening, listening to international broadcasts. Which shows you that, okay, if nobody knows in my class that exists, we were already back then a few people compared to the general mass of shortwave listeners. You know? Crazy. So, hey guys, hope you enjoyed today's show. I'm all excited with the Stanek stuff. I will take off because I'm hungry and I want to cook a little food. Hey, F. Blassie, sorry that you're checking in, but you're from work, so you can't check in for a long time. But at least we got you in for a few seconds, or a few minutes. So I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. Next week, we will be here with the VHF UHF show on the VHF UHF channel. That will be Friday at 2000 UT. We also will be on Saturday. The 24th of February, on the Shortwave show. And you know what? We're going to take a look on the 24th at online SDRs that we can use to listen to Shortwave. I think it's going to be really a lot of fun. So hope everybody enjoyed today's show. Please don't forget, donations are an important part of what I do. They kept me continuing listening for, for ages. No, but they kept me in the live shows for a long time and for what I do right now, and I'm still here because of that. So I want to thank everybody for the donations during the show today. Don't forget that they're an important part of what I do. And it's always fun to have all of you on board. You guys are great, by the way. I mean, you can't have, as fantastic fans as all of you watching this every week, watching me talk for 3 hours or 4 hours. I still am sometimes wondering, how people can listen to me talk for 4 hours and still be there and find it interesting. So I want to thank everybody. Thanks for being great fans. Thanks for being amazing people. Take care, everybody. Love you all. Really. Stay safe, please. I want to see you next week. I want to see you through the year 2018. Bye, everyone. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Take care. Bye.